Hi, Wendy.
John.
How are we doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Just been away, haven't you?
I've just come back from Prague with the missus.
Ah, how was it?
It was all right. It wasn't as nice as what I thought it would be. But
Really? Because
yeah,
I've heard it's a nice place.
it is nice. It's cold, obviously, at this time of year. But do you know what? We missed out on the bad weather over here.
Well,
So there's no snow.
what was the temperature out there like?
It's about -4.
Oh, that's not too bad.
But
Because
there's no
Prague can
snow.
get really, really cold.
Yeah, but it was okay. It was nice.
So was there any training while you was out there? Was it a complete
every day,
break?
John?
What?
Seriously,
You was training?
every day. I actually.
Yeah, I thought you was winding me up there.
No, I'm not joking.
Do you not go away and have a break? Is it? I'll switch
I
off.
can't. No, I trained every day, and I think on the Friday I trained twice, because where we were staying there was a gym just 2 floors below, so I trained.
Did you purposely seek out a place?
Yeah, before I went.
What did Kay say?
Nothing.
Is she still training as well with you?
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
So hand in glove.
Hand in.
Partner
She
in
knows
crime.
she knows the score. Yeah.
Do you find it hard then to switch off and have a break?
I don't like having a break. I get stressed if I have a break, only because I love training.
Yeah.
I think the longest time I had off training was 6 days
Right.
ever in my whole life.
Really?
And that was only at Christmas because I've got asthma and I was
Right.
I had a couple of asthma attacks.
Right.
So I couldn't literally train physically, and that's the only time in my whole career I've ever had 6 days in a row.
So it's fair to say then your love and your passion for the sport
I
is
love
just...
training, John. I wake up and I get excited about going to the gym.
Even though I've retired, and I must admit I still love working out.
Uh-huh.
Even though it might not be, I mean, we've done some crazy workouts together.
Oh, we have.
And I used to have Evolution Gym. Remember the leg
I
session
remember
we had?
that leg session. I've got the pictures to prove it.
We were both on the floor like boom.
Gone.
And you don't see much of that these
You don't.
days.
You don't. And it's a shame really, because I think if more athletes and people in general push themselves more,
Yeah.
then they wouldn't have to rely on other things and other people to get further.
Well, I must admit, I mean, I've trained with, I don't know if you remember Colleen Yates?
Yes, I do, yeah.
I mean, you and Colleen are very, very similar in the fact that when Colleen was training, you were training, you were absolutely full on.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reprieve, you know what I mean? And when it comes to strong and giving it your all, I mean, you're right up there. Mm-hmm. And it's fair, well, you're called the Warrior, aren't you? Warrior Princess?
Yeah, that's it.
How did that name come about?
I think, well, I like all the gladiatorial stuff,
Yeah.
gladiators, and I always joke on that in my past life I was a gladiator.
Like Wonder Woman.
That Wonder Woman, yes. Gladiator girl.
Yeah.
And I just love the whole like warrior thing, the courage, the passion, the like no holds barred type of like ethos type thing. So and then I started guest posing. I used to do a gladiator theme.
That's right, yeah. Many a time I've seen it.
Yeah, and I'm sure Eric guy used to get sick each time because here we go again. And then I used to get like voiceovers done, and I used to wear the costume like gladiators and stuff.
Right.
So and I guess it went from there. And my email address is Gladiator Girl. So
we should all that. You see, like you say, you created a bit of an identity there, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you linked it all in. So it's you know, this is a beautiful thing because I know you personally. We go back. How long? When did we first meet? Now.
Now are we going back the first time when you were manager at CNP?
Yeah, that's right. And now you're with CNP.
And now I'm with CNP. Yeah. That's a bit weird.
What's your position, by the way?
I'm the area north and account manager.
Yeah.
For the northeast.
So everything going well? Good.
Yeah, it's good. We've just rebranded the company, so we're getting new rebranding new launches out now. So trying to get back to where we were. Yeah. I know things have changed now, so you can never really go back. But we're trying to push the old school mentality, like get back to our bodybuilding roots and stuff. So,
good.
Quite exciting times. So all good.
So was it? Did you come down to see us at the unit when I was there? Because we used to. Because back then it was there was. I was running the technical outline and all that. There was Scott there as well.
There was Scott Gladill, and there was you and obviously Kerry.
Yeah.
Brian
Batch, yeah.
So I came down there to see it at the unit. Yeah. All this, and that was 98 or something.
Do you remember how the conversation went?
I don't think. I think I just was like. I was slightly nervous when I came to see it.
Because that was 98. That was the year before I turned pro.
It must have been. It must have been 98.
Because how long had you been? What was the first year you competed in then?
Amateur. 96.
That's right.
It might have been 99, 2000. I came down to see you. Probably 2000.
Right. So it might have been just after then.
Just after, because you were definitely pro. So it must have been.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. So 99 I turned pro, and then 2000 I had a year off. So, and then it was 2001 that I then come back and did my first pro show, overseas pro show that was. So yeah, it would have been about that.
But it's been a long time, regardless. So it's been a long time.
No, it's been quite a while actually. Yeah. I must admit that. So I always remember, because when I sort of like, when we got formed a closer sort of like bond, if you get my meaning, with regards to, I always remember you having this great shape, but he was big. Okay, I'm going to say it bluntly. He was fat. Yeah. But he was always on stage. But I'm thinking, God, Wendy, if you get in shape, get that condition, you know, you've got everything there. Just do it. The same happened with, remember Joanna Thomas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Joanna was actually, she beat me in my first ever British finals. Because
it was her sister as well, wasn't it? Her sister won it the year before. Overall, yeah.
And then 98, Joanna won it. Right. Because I was second. And she went on to turn pro. Yep. And then the following year I did it again, came second again. But yeah, Joanna she had an amazing shape.
Well, I helped her get ready for the, do you remember the what was it now? The first pro show she ever did, and she qualified for them when the Miss Olympia.
Was it the Miss International?
It was, yeah. It was Jan Tanner, was it? Miss International.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And I always remember helping, and I said, look, just keep it dead. You know what I mean? Keep it simple. Just do that. Log it all. And she actually won and qualified. So she actually moved out to America.
She's still there in Fort Lauderdale now.
Yeah. And I said to her, when you go out there, you're going to get hounded. You're going to have people telling you to do this, that, and the other, because they all know better.
That's so true.
You've got a formula. Stick with it. Unfortunately, what did she do?
She didn't stick to that formula.
No. And placed last.
It does.
I really, really felt for her, because I thought, God, just ignore these bullshitters. Excuse my French, because they're all out there.
Yeah. Oh, they're all out there. And even the people who don't tell you, if you walk, say, backstage and you see all the girls doing different stuff, and so they're thinking, oh my God, like, I'm doing this, they're doing that, maybe I should do that. But you've got to be so headstrong, because even they start questioning you. Like, it happened to me this year. What are you drinking all that water for? I'm just keep it, ignore it, stick to the plan.
Stay and don't do what I did. Don't give anything away.
Nope.
Don't help the competition. Oh, done that a few times. Like, fucking hell, John. You know.
But you do though, don't you? Because that's the type of guy you are. So.
Because I'm so used to giving advice, and a lot of people don't understand this. When I was at CMP, I mean, it was like 11 years.
It's a long time.
I was doing seminars alongside Kerry, Dorian, Brian Batchelor. There was a group of us going all over. I was doing the forums. I was doing the technical outline. So it was inbuilt. My nature was to help. And a lot of people don't remember that side. I've probably helped more people than any other bodybuilder on the planet. And that's not just bodybuilders, but general people as well. Sure. When I account to how many, like, people I've spoke to, it's like, it's just endless, you know what I mean? So, I mean, well, you've just done a seminar, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. We've
just done a couple, actually. We did one, the first one, is myself and Kimberly Ann Jones, who was a retired professional IPB pro. So we did the first one at my home up at County Durham. Yeah, that was before Christmas, and then we've just done the second one, the southern one, down at Kim's place 2 weeks ago. And
the purpose of them are
basically because there's I didn't think there was any seminars or advice around as a whole for females. Yeah, there's plenty of guys and pros adding flex and everyone doing seminars, which are brilliant. That's brilliant. But there was nothing there out for the women.
No, it's true though. That you bang on.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So I mentioned it to Kim before Christmas, and I said, how do you fancy doing something? And she said, well, put it out there. Just, put the feelers out on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So I did. And then the response was really good. I was like, whoa, didn't expect that. So, and it was just basically like what we're doing now, John. Yeah. But it was like interactive as well. Yeah. So
was it for did you have a mixture of ladies that turned up?
Yeah, it was mixtures from bikini girls, natural girls, strong women, powerlifters. It was brilliant.
Really? So how many people attended roughly?
Over 30.
Right, good.
Each time.
So there's more planned?
Well, we've just been asked to do something at Body Power, which is we're chuffed a bit.
Right, okay.
And then we've got potentially another couple to do.
Right.
I mean, we were going to stop there, but if people want us to do it, then we will do it.
Well, what's it? Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, and it's the right knowledge, because especially females, you get in the wrong hands, and it's scary, John.
This is the thing. I mean, it really is, and we'll, definitely going to touch up on quite a number of things on this, I'm sure. But it's crucial. But what I mean, all right, let's cut to the chase.
Come on.
The knowledge and the information and the stuff that people are doing out there. I can talk about the men all day long.
Yeah.
But I can also talk about the women all day long. But this is about you. I want your take. How do you view what's going on out there at the moment?
To be honest, it's pretty scary. I mean, I've had females come to me and they say, "No, my last trainer," and I use that term loosely. I mean, I don't mind. I'm all for people, like, maybe it's not name coaches, but trainers, whatever, helping people. That's their job. That's fine if they know what they're doing. If they've been there, done it, worn the t-shirt. Yeah. But for me, you have to have been there and done it yourself, so you can understand the mindset that they're going through. That's
the one thing I've always said. How can somebody tell you what you don't know, the mindset, what it requires, and how dark a place it is?
Until you've been there. And you can't describe that to someone. And until you've been there, then I'm sorry, but you're not in position, in my opinion, to be telling someone else to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, I've had girls, so their trainers got me on this, and this. I'm like, holy shit. I've never heard of half the stuff.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
And it's scary. Yeah. And then these girls are not even winning regional shows. Come on, why? Where's the common sense gone? But because the coach says, "Oh well, he's got all these girls doing it," then.
The thing is, it's become the age of the guru and coaches, hasn't it?
It is,
and it's just another arena that's sort of like built up, if you like, and they're making money off people who want to compete and want to do well, and genuinely, I think, susceptible, if you like,
innocent and gullible.
Gullible. Yeah. Let's cut to the chase. That's how they are. But when you're bodybuilding and that, and especially when you're first starting off as well, I remember I was so driven to what I wanted to achieve.
But what's happened now, John, I think, is everyone wants it yesterday. Yeah. And that's another big part of it. They're not prepared to work over a time period. I mean, flipping heck, this is my 14th year as a pro. Yeah. I'm actually Britain's longest serving professional, which I'm very proud to be. But I've been training since I was 17, and I'm now 40. Coming at 40.
You don't look 40.
Oh, thanks, John. Beautiful. But you know what I'm saying? You get people in who've been trained 6 months. I want to compete. Yeah. I think you need to go and train first. No, but I've been trained for 6 months.
You've absolutely nailed it there. I think you couldn't put it a better way. Yeah. I said in the past, you've got to build your foundation up.
Exactly.
How can you think about stepping on stage until you've put in that and you've built up something to show for it? And it's like, is it say, well, what? I'm in the gym. I've got a God-given right to compete. No,
you haven't. No, you haven't. You've got to earn your stripes, so to speak.
When did you win the actual British then? In
2004.
2004. See, so it was like 6 years. Same with 93. I first competed. I then 6 years later won the middleweights and got my pro card. And it was then again another. It was 10 years then that made it to the Olympia, and people don't see that.
Can you imagine that now?
Right? Nah, you don't. No.
But that's a reflection of our society as a whole. Yeah. Because they're not prepared to wait and put in the work. They want it now. They want it yesterday.
Yeah, I think society as a general is very reflective in the attitudes of what's come into possibly how bodybuilding sort of like transformed in a way to
and
the
that's
mindset
probably
of the individuals.
The popularity of the new classes is a reflection of our society. Yeah, I think.
Well, it's really interesting that we've sort of like touched on that, because if you look at, I know I got in trouble, I'm going to be honest with you. I did an article, I don't know if you remember, in The Beef, and it was Paula Birkinshaw ripped into me and everything, and it was that I was calling out the female bodybuilding, but as to why it was probably at the time on a decline, and they're saying, look, if it weren't for being attached to the men's class, where would female bodybuilding be at the moment? But it wasn't aimed at the women as per se, even though it might have, sometimes I don't quite get it right, you know me, put me through. But I just say it, speak first. Oh shit, what did I say that? But what I was trying to get at was, and I seen this happen with Paula Birkinshaw and a number of the ladies. they got into this great shape when it comes to getting to the qualifiers or the Olympias, and then they were being marked down, but no one told them what the criteria was. I mean, what's your view on it? I mean, because it really is, I mean, it does upset me, because I'm passionate about bodybuilding, like you, Wendy. Bodybuilding is what, this is what we're about. This is what we do. This is what we do. This has been 20 years of our life. What happened? What happened with the Miss Olympia? I mean, for me, I'm just going to put it out there, my bit was, the federation, the IFBB at the time, should have had clear mandates as to what they wanted. And at least then everyone knew where they stood and where they were going. And for me, it was as though they were letting loose and allowing things to go maybe too far, I don't know, but something went wrong. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you can look at it two ways. The girls themselves, you've got a responsibility, so to speak, to carry out that criteria, or to stand on stage and be judged as a female bodybuilder. But also the judges have responsibility, because if they're going to mark someone who, I don't like using this term, like not as feminine, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody.
No, I know what you're saying. No, I mean, it is quite a touchy area to cover.
It's very, but at the end of the day, John, we're women. Yeah. Okay, so we still have to look like a woman. Yeah. If you don't like that, don't compete. Yeah. Right? That's the rules. Yeah. And that's fine. If you don't like the rules and you don't want to appear feminine on stage, then it's not for you. Go and do something else. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to not train. Yeah. But to get on stage, it's part of the criteria. Yes, maybe it's unfair that men don't have to have masculine tendencies in their criteria. Yeah. But we do. Yeah. And that's how it's always been. Yeah. So therefore, play the rules or don't play at all.
Because the golden age, you had Corey Everson and Linda Murray, and they were great, great shows, and it was a shame because the physiques were great, and you're thinking, to me, it's like, I'd love to see the Miss Olympia back with the men and that. You know what I mean? And
it should be with the men. It shouldn't be a sideshow. No, it shouldn't be an addition to or a separate show. Yes, I know we get really, really well at the New Wings of Strength show now.
Because the Wings of Strength has taken over
from the Miss Olympia, and it's just a title at the end of the day. But it still is.
It's still the same.
It's still the same.
It's still a Miss Olympia.
And the reason why it's changed is because the show promoters, Jake and Crystal Wood, who were in charge of Wings of Strength, they had the choice. They either bought the rights to call it Miss Olympia and have less funds for us, or they don't have the name and the funds can be given back to us. They thought it'd be better for us if we had, were to enjoy the money a bit more. So we get better prize money, get hotels, we get driven around, nothing's a problem.
So, I mean, basically it came down to, again, I just don't get it. Why buy it? Why not keep the Olympia alive and say, look, we want to keep the Miss Olympia alive. This is what do we need to do? And bang heads together and go, where do we need to be? Yeah. And it's a shame, but the fact of the matter is it's now changed. It is what it is. But you're saying now, these guys are really putting the ladies first.
Oh, yeah, massively. I mean, there's like the likes of Tim Gardner, the promoter.
I qualified at his show in 2009.
Right, he's a lovely guy.
Tim, if you're out there. Top
nice
man.
One, Tim.
Top man. He is a proper gentleman, loves bodybuilding.
He is. He's really good. And he's, every show that I've been to, which is pretty much most of the ones that he's done, he supports female bodybuilding. And he takes care of us. And
he's still got his gym. He's got the gym out there as well.
He's got a gym out there, yeah. But he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. Proper nice guy. Yeah. So, I mean, talking of which then, so how many shows did you do then last year?
I did 3 in total. Right. I did the Toronto Pro Show in May. Yep. Then I came 3rd. So I got some points.
So, so just so get this right, when you do a qualifier, you have to win here to then get to the... Yeah. What's it called? What's the main event called?
So it's the Rising Phoenix Women's Strength. Yeah. So it's like that's our Miss Olympia. Yeah. So you either have to win, or you have to get points, which I think it goes across the board for all categories anyway.
Yeah. Bit like the men as well.
Yeah, like the men. Yeah. Which is fine again if you live in the States. Yeah. But obviously
it favours them, doesn't it?
It favours. I mean, like sometimes I've been there 23-hour journeys to get from home.
It's not just that cost, hotels,
flights. The food situation is an absolute nightmare, and stressful. That's stuff, things that people don't think about, like going through customs and like sitting on the plane.
Done that a few times.
And then there's a few incidents I had, like flying out to Chicago this time, like injuries and stuff like that. But that doesn't worry the girls who live in the States. No. But from those travelling out, then, you know, it's very, very stressful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did those 2 qualifiers. I got enough points. I was had the most total of everyone to qualify for the Rising Phoenix. So.
And then, what was your expectations going into the finals?
Well,
deep down, what was your
deep down, John? Since I began, my ultimate dream has been just to stand on stage at the Olympia.
I know.
Okay.
I remember.
That's all I wanted to do. You know that.
I know. It's the same as me, wasn't it?
Yeah, same as you.
We've had many discussions in private.
And each year I've like, do I give up now? It's not going to happen. I even tried women's physique the previous year because I got told.
Well, I was just going to
go back to that
back to that,
but not for so when I qualified, I was just, you couldn't take the smile off my face. The last, I think I'd prepped since Boxing Day last year, right the way through till September. So that's pretty much 9 months of contest prep, barring, I think I had 4 days off after Chicago. Now I'm like you, I don't have cheat meals and burgers and stuff like that. I'm stick to it, you know, so that's like a long time. But I was all right with that because I was living a dream. I was like, I don't care, I'm going. So we got there. I enjoyed the whole thing. Like I was just soaking it all up, you know. So when it came to contest day, like pre-judging, and I felt good. I felt I'd hit my mark. So I was not stressed anyway at all. So there we were in the lineup, and first call out, Sheila Black, Wendy McCready. Well, I was oblivious to what they were saying. I mean, my parents had flown out as well. For the first time they'd ever been to the States, they'd flew all the way, bless them. So they're in the audience, and I was number 13 of all numbers. And I didn't register, they'd call me name. Second, I said, number 13, Wendy. I was like, oh.
You're like,
inside I was like, come on. And I'm trying to keep it all dead chilled. I'm outside. Inside I was like, come on. So I was in the centre stage, the first call out. And then there was me, Sheila, Hanny, sorry, not Hanny, Helly, and Yaxini. So I was thinking, wow. And then that was it. It went from there, and they switched it around. And the feedback I was getting, like from home as well, who were watching it, and Kay's very critical as well, but in a good way. And she said, I can't decide. She said, whether you're second or third. And she said, but they might put you fourth. And I was like, right, anyway. So it ended up I came fourth. Which I'm really chuffed about.
I would have had you right up in the mix for the, you know, like the. I agree with Kay on that second, third. You know what I mean?
I would say a lot of people had said the same thing, John.
But hey, fourth in the world.
I know.
Wow. I was over the moon when I found out. There was a little bit of a tear because I just knew what it meant to you. You know, for me, I was just sat back in quiet and just went,
It meant like everything. But then I was thinking, so that happened. But what hadn't told anybody, I tore my shoulder.
I know you've had some
in two places in March. Funny enough, Evolution Gym. At your old place.
I wasn't training you then.
You weren't training me, John.
I'm not to blame.
No, I blame myself on this one. I've got no one to blame. For being a short ass, and then because I couldn't reach the bar.
What was you doing?
Incline bench.
Right.
The weight was fine. Like I knew I was okay.
Just overstretched.
But I picked the weight up on the bar and I slid. And I stopped it and I felt. So I was driving back home thinking, oh my God. Anyway, long story short, 2 tears. So I'm not stopping. I had the Chicago to train for, Toronto to train for. And then I thought, if I don't qualify, I'll get it sorted. Obviously, I qualified, so I thought, right, I'll carry on. Every day, I couldn't hardly sleep. It was agony, absolute agony. So
you've had quite a few niggles. I know
I've had this shoulder done already. This has been done 3 years ago. And I've got back issues and stuff. But
I know, I was going to say, normally you'd be condemned, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But under normal circumstances.
I'd be put down if I was a dog, man.
Exactly, but you're not a normal person. This is why the warrior issue really, really does stand out for me with regards to the warrior princess. That people really don't know.
No, they don't.
You got that mindset of no matter what. Doesn't matter what's going on. Most people have thrown the towel. I don't care. I've seen you, come to me and I'm thinking, you're going to be falling to pieces here. You sure you're going to be all right? You were stubborn.
Well, I am stubborn, that's the thing, and I take after my dad and my granddad for that. It's a good thing, but it might end up hurting me, I don't know. But
yeah,
I've done what I have, so... But I got there, and that was in between. So I did that in March, did Toronto with it. Chicago, I've had back issues. When we were on the train, catching the train to the Chicago flight, my back went like in a big way.
Really?
And we hadn't even left my hometown by then. And I was thinking, oh hell, I've got a 9-hour flight here. And I was literally stuck on the train station. So the train steward had to help Kate on with her bags.
Right.
And I could barely walk. And I was on the train. I wanted to cry because I thought, oh my God.
Come this far.
So stayed overnight, luckily, at Manchester Airport Hotel. John Ramsey, former CNP athlete, bless him, he came out.
For Stuart Cosgrove,
for Stuart Cosgrove. He came out like a little superhero, acupunctured my back at the hotel, did some manipulation, told me what to do, and I religiously did the exercise, John, on the hour, every hour. But he said, take some painkillers. I said, I don't normally take painkillers, John. He said, I think you need to. I thought, it's the show, I'll take them. Yeah. Not used to taking painkillers at all.
You're thinking about, I will hold water and
I'll
all
just
this,
hold water, but if it gets me on the stage, you know, I'll do it.
Yep.
On the plane, we hadn't even left the runway. I said, okay, I'm going to be sick. She said, you can't be. I need to go to the toilet. We can't be strapped in. She said, if you move now, you'll get put off the plane, you will never get there. Right, okay. So how I did it, John, I do not know. But without being like disgusting, as soon as the seatbelt off sign came on, in the toilet, I was being sick.
What was that for?
From the painkillers and the pain. For the whole 9-hour flight.
Wow.
And that was the day I was meant to be eating a little bit more.
Yeah.
And drinking. I brought all my food there. We ate it all out. It was with me. Didn't touch none of it. And this was on the Wednesday before my show.
So go on. How did that affect you?
Well, I looked kind of good. So I
don't know. One less day of
eating carb. And I was thinking, well, I can't be sick before. When I qualified, I thought, I can't do all that again.
No.
So that was a hard journey across.
Yeah.
Even I only was able to start eating the day before on the Friday, and even then it was just oats.
Yeah.
I couldn't have egg whites, and oats was the only food I could keep down.
Mm-hmm. But it worked.
And so,
where there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. And now you find yourself as the fourth female bodybuilder in the world now.
Which, I am, and I've still got the shoulder tear.
Yeah.
Because originally I was going to get it done after.
Was you?
And I've just been to see a professor in Manchester. He said,
Funk.
Professor Funk.
Professor Funk, yes.
He said, again, you got 2 tears, you need it operated on. I said, I can't do that now. I said, I've qualified already.
Did he say how long, if you did have it operated, how long would you be out for?
Well, going by this one, I was out for, I was in the gym, John, as soon as I could, and I was obsessive with my rehab.
Yeah.
But that honestly took about 9 months. And he said, this is way worse. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to grit my teeth again here for the next year.
So is there, what do you have to do? I mean, how do you work around it? What's the protocol?
Stubbornness, John.
Is it, even though it's hurting, you just keep going? Really?
Honestly, I'm at physio every week to get on with it. I might, they've already told us, like...
So I say Wonder Woman this, Chris, don't you think?
Don't be surprised, I said, if your arm just goes limp and it just goes all together. Cheers. I'll bear that in mind when I'm ready.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I've been knocking PBs out in the gym with doing chest press and that.
Well, I've been seeing some of the workouts, because you're actually training sometimes alongside Anth Bales, aren't you?
I used to train legs.
And he's old school with Leroy.
He's old school,
That's what I love. That there's very, very few people that train like this these days, and I love that in the trenches.
I love training there. I do. Honestly.
Well, we did legs, didn't we? I went up that time.
Max Muscle Gym. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
But Aaron's injured himself at the minute, and he's frustrated to bits because he kind of train like he wants to.
Right.
So even though he kind of train, I'm going there. He supports me. The lads there help us. I want to lift in a spot or anything.
Yeah.
And you bounce off the hard work ethic and the energy there. You know, it's. You bounce off each other.
It's like you say, isn't it? It's one of them places. You want that work ethic. That you feel that energy.
Yeah.
If you get, and that for me is important.
You do. It's like energy, and you want to work harder because you think, especially I know it sounds a bit weird, but when I go to a new gym because I'm a female, and a lot of the gyms are male orientated. And even though I've trained, and I'm not shy of going any gym, I'll go anywhere, but I still have this thing in my head where it might be wrong, but they're judging me. I think, oh well, she's a woman, right? How shouldn't really be in here. And I know they're probably not thinking that, but in my head I think, right, I need to up my game here. Like, just show them, not like I don't train.
If you're training legs in another gym, most men will be like, oh.
Well, apparently last week when I trained down at Oakley Fitness, I got the guy was videoing me, and I always train better under pressure.
Yeah.
So if someone,
so you got a point to prove.
I do, yeah, and I haven't got a point to prove, but I have to myself.
Yeah.
So it's like having a good training pattern. I like to go last.
Yeah.
If you're repping out or something.
I know what I've got to beat.
And we did it last week. Petra said, right, we'll finish off with we did squats, and I did my PB on squats. I'm not a numbers person, John, but I felt strong. So we'll finish off with just one plate aside and just rep out, keep going.
Yeah.
Just for shits and giggles, really. And Petra said, right, go on then. I said, oh, hang on. If we're doing that, I'm going last.
Yeah.
He said, well, that's just so you can beat us. I said, Yeah. So she went, and I think she got 20. So stopped at 20, smiled at the camera, carried on. She's like, oh, damn you.
She's like, oh.
Yeah.
Talking about training, this is going to be an interesting one, really, because everyone thinks, oh, women have to train differently and this, that and the other, and go on. Fill us in with your...
Pardon the French, but that's bollocks.
Wendy McCready's principles of training, and yes, I half expected that answer.
Muscle to muscle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you see any difference between men and women?
Dieting, maybe you've got to diet longer, and it is more difficult. Obviously, we naturally tendency to store fat more.
But training?
No.
So?
A bicep's a bicep, right? At the end of the day, it's not like, hey, I'm a female bicep or a male bicep. It's a bicep.
So go on, tell us how you're training. Let people know, how does Wendy train? What's your principle?
Wendy trains, I have had to change because of me falling apart body. I grew the most 4 days a week.
Yeah.
As we were trained, as Anne still trained on.
Yeah. Because you trained alongside me, you've trained alongside Anth, and nothing was...
It's same. Yeah. High intensity, low volume, so to speak. However, I've had to kind of tweak it a bit just because of my joints and stuff. So people are going to argue and say, see, this is what high intensity does to you. It wrecks your joints. Yes, but there's always a way. And I still have those principles. As in, I kind of go at the gym and just, like, say, if it 4 sets of 10, I can't. It's 4 sets of 10. I'm all out on the last set still, like with drop sets, and I still try and have, I do have crazy leg sessions, and I don't do anything fancy. I don't start like making up my own exercises just because. Stick to basics. They work. They've always worked, and like you say, you cannot reinvent the wheel. You can. You
can. And this is what I find. I look and it's just, I think it's all for show for the social media.
It is.
And the likes. And you're thinking, you twat. Excuse my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is so, isn't it?
It is. I mean, our theory in these 2 seminars we did is don't do it for the likes, do it for the love.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I don't care how many.
So how would you sum up training then for you? How would you say, right, how do you view training? As in my principles? Yeah, and also, how do you go in there? What's the mindset that you go in with? My mindset is to beat what I did last week. Constant challenge. Yeah. Always improve. Yeah. And I recover really well. Yeah. As in my body, and I think that's probably down to diet and nutrition. Yeah. And my timing, I'm a bit obsessive. I still write stuff down. I still wear everything out. Even to this day, I've got diaries. I go back to 98, timing, and it's not 2:30, it's 2:35. Right, it's that precise. It's OCD, but it's helped me. So I can always check what I've done. And I'm not about lifting weight for the sake of lifting weight, but I have to beat myself. Yeah. And you're only fooling yourself if you go in and your head goes before your body. If my body goes, as in a good way, like your muscle fails, that's good. Yeah. But if my head goes, that's not good. No. So it's all about having that strong mindset and taking pass through that pain. Yeah. Like, you find the pain. When I say pain, nice a lot of people's that goes before, and then they can't reach that failure and so forth. Or because it says on the sheet you have to do 4 sets of 10.
So they get to 10 and think, oh, I'll stop now. But in their body, they could get under 2 or 3 reps maybe.
Yeah.
But so that's I always have to, I train to failure on each exercise, but not every set. I do more warm-up sets now, John, because I'm getting old.
Well, that's what you got to do, right? You know.
And then my shoulder training, I've had to change, as in volume-wise, I do a bit more volume and higher reps. Yeah. Because I can't do what.
Because obviously, if you're going to then go into the lower rep, high intensity, it's just not going to handle it, is it?
But the crazy thing is, excuse me, with my shoulder, I cannot do front barbell press, but I can do press behind neck, which is really weird.
That's
even my physio says that's weird.
Yeah,
no pain, press behind neck.
Do you know? Because that's one of the exercises I avoid like the plague. You know what I mean? And I remember doing it in the early years, and it weren't. I mean, I started getting really strong, and then I felt rotator cuff, a niggle, and I just went,
it's weird.
That is weird, isn't it?
But I love doing press behind neck. Yeah, that's so like against the grain. But it works.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, you can't put, even your physio saying he's a bit stumped. So
yeah, he's like, that's just weird.
Wow. Yeah. That's through me. That I must admit.
And I get a good pump off it as well.
So the take is for women who are training out there. Let's be honest about it. If they want to develop a good, a lot of women just generally want to get this nice round firm backside.
Lunge, squat, stiff leg deadlift.
There you go. Simple, isn't it?
Simple.
And then you got people coming out with all these walking across. Have you seen these women and they're in Italy and they're doing all these kickback? And it's like the videos are there and they just look and they get millions of likes and they wonder why. Because they're flaunting the wares.
They're flaunting everything. They're training. I don't care what I look like when I train, John. No, at all.
Yeah, you like me.
I can wear the scruffiest clothes ever, but I'm there to train, I'm there to do a job, and that's the difference. I'm not there to go on my phone to get likes and whatever. For me, I'm there so I can be a better version of me on the stage.
You're on a mission, aren't you?
Yeah,
so continuous improvement.
Yeah. Even I get like butterflies on the way at the gym now, especially on leg day. I do honestly.
Do you know what? And I was just about to say, when you're doing legs, people used to say, "Oh, I love." I was mental in the early years, but I'd go in and I would be absolutely going, "Oh God." Even though I was super strong on legs, it was one body part that when I first hit the stage, my legs, everyone went, "What? Look at the legs on it." But they didn't see, behind the scene, you'd be panicking because I'd be squatting up to 5 and 6 plates for reps.
And it's scary, isn't it?
Then leg press, and I'd be throwing up once, maybe 2, 3 times, and you'd go, and you knew this was coming. And so, but you had to sort of like, but you'd psych yourself up, and then afterwards you'd be like rough as anything, flat out, and be thinking, that was awesome. And you're like, I want to be, you know what I mean? You like flates out, and it's like, and for me, it's like a warped sort of like.
It is. I think we have to be a bit weird, don't we?
Yeah, we're definitely warped. I definitely believe when you're training in that kind of realm, and you push yourself to that level, it is purely about the strongest element has to be the mindset.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's not pretty.
No, it's not pretty.
Because, I say we did that leg workout, didn't we, that time? God, let's go back a bit.
That was really funny. Well, it is funny now, but it wasn't at the time.
It wasn't, no.
But no, before legs, you get nervous, like you say, you're thinking, getting under the bar, squatting. Yeah. But as you get older, I think you start to think of weird things like, if my knee snaps on here. But I never used to think that years ago. Yeah. But things like that cross your mind now. Yeah. It's all those stupid YouTube videos that go out, isn't it? Yeah. Like of people, things that go wrong. No, I don't want to see that.
No, but I mean, it's like, because I say, again, it's like I've retired, as everyone knows, but I don't train to the same extent with legs. I take leg extensions to failure, and I do leg press now and again, or I'll do I don't squat. I do the pendulum squat.
Yes, yeah.
And so
we did that at Tony's gym, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I got up to 820s on that. I was still 6 the other day, but I did 6 the other week, and I'm like going, everyone's looking at me, and I'm going, this is me. Yeah. I'm natural now. I've been like that for a while, and it's like,
but it's still up here.
It's still up there, and I get in, and it's like, I get angry with it, and I leg pressing, say 400-500 kilo, I can, and again, but I'm not going to bonkers failures on them movements. No. I just sort of keep a bit of blood going in there, but there's still a bit of a lunatic somewhere.
There's always going to be that lunatic part in your head.
Yeah, there is. I was up I go over and see mates gym over in Leeds and that. And we always have to do chest workout and that. You'll have to go there. Ultraflex.
I've been a few times.
Have you been there? Yeah.
If I'm around there for work and stuff, I'll have my dinner out, I'll go in.
Yeah, it's cracking.
Yeah, I love the gym. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, really good kitting. But I still find myself drifting towards the free weights. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think well, that's a good point. That because what is your take on that free weights and machines? Because it's always a constant debate that people always have, don't they?
I think it's horses for courses, isn't it? I mean, the majority of my training is made up of free weights.
Yeah.
Barbell, dumbbell. Obviously, there's cables in there, and I think as the contest comes closer, I still keep that basic heavy stuff in.
Yeah.
I don't start going to higher reps and lighter weights and things. Cause you told me what got you the muscle, keep you the muscle.
What gets you there keeps you there.
And it's logical, isn't it? When you think like, otherwise, why would it stay there? Yeah. So, and I still try. I'm convinced I still grow into my show.
Yeah.
Even from last year, from Chicago, and that was July to September, I put some muscle tissue on.
Yeah.
And I could see I did. But I think, and sometimes you can lose your way a little bit, as in you get a little bit frightened towards the end, thinking you're going to tear something.
Yeah.
And I think with my injury and stuff. But then when I was, from the gap between July and September, I thought, kiss this, I'm going all out here.
Yeah.
So I included more basic stuff and I went heavier and I looked better.
Yeah.
And that was in the last 3-4 weeks.
That happened with my very last show. And mentally, I just went in with this, John.
It's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing, but I thought, you know what to do? Just relax. I wanted to be, and I purposely just kicked back. And I said to my training partner at the time, it was Gavin. And I said, look, Gav, if I'm not going to enjoy this, if it starts getting a chore, I'm just going to throw the towel in. I'm not going to do it. I said, I want to enjoy this prep as best I can. I was still a little bit tetchy at times, you know.
Yeah. As you are.
Yeah. Oh, I've been that all right. And that's what I found. I just keep going. The strength was there. And there was a 1 week out from the show lifting what I was doing in the off season. Yeah. It was crazy. But I think, again, it was just, I found that being relaxed, saying, look, you know how to train, you know how to eat, you know how to do your cardio. Just kick back. And so for me, it was like suppressing, if you like, the cortisol levels. And I think that was half the battle for me. And that last show really proved it for me.
Because let's be honest, your cortisol is going to go through the roof from all the stress you're putting yourself under anyway. Yeah,
I look back, I was right stressed at times.
You think you're all right, don't you? And you look back and you think, what was I doing?
Well, how would you describe yourself when you're dieting for a show?
Do you know what, John? Kale vouch for me here.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't get moody. I just go really quiet.
I think that's...
Because normally you can't shut me up. Yeah. And then, even my clients, notice that I go very quiet. And, you get people, are you all right? Yeah. Fine. No, but you're not all right. If you keep asking us, I'm not going to be all right. When you're the score. But I'm generally fine. I'm just super, super tired. Do
you find that your concentration levels, if you're trying to watch a movie?
Oh, I've got like 10 minutes. And
I know, isn't it horrible, that? Yeah.
But I only have short concentration span now. It's like training. Yeah. I can concentrate brilliantly for an hour, an hour and 20 minutes. After that, I'm gone. I was the same at university.
Was you?
Oh, yeah. I have to drift. You might as well just be talking foreign.
I suppose in a way that reflects to sort of like how work is. I mean, I was talking about this, everyone's still pigeonholed in this 40-hour week, 8-hour day. And does that make it a productive way to go about life? I don't think so. It's how do you actually generate the most productivity in a positive way, whether it's training or whether it's some kind of work, and that, what you were saying, it's true. You can only hold in that, and then before you know it, you're like,
yeah, exactly. You can train long or you can train hard, but you can't train long and hard.
You can't sprint for an hour, can you?
Exactly. So you can't be expected to put really intense for your normal day job work across 8 hours solid. Yeah. That ain't going to happen. You're going to get nothing. No. But if you have a little breaks every so often.
So your workout would be the 45-minute hour max?
I would say now, John, it's about an hour and 20.
Yeah? Right.
Because I do a few, it takes me 20 minutes to warm up.
No, but that's so you warm up top, but you actual then after you've warmed up.
I'd say about an hour. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, because I do certain body parts I do more of. I do calves every day. Okay. I love training calves.
Really?
Yeah, and they've grown. So yeah, because back in the day, my legs grew really quick, and I didn't pay as much attention to my calves, and I've tried various things. So but I found
that's gone totally against the grain of how we've.
I felt really. Well. I thought I'm just gonna try it.
Yeah.
But again, I still train all out.
Yeah.
But I do them, and they've grown more. So.
Well,
can I just interject there?
Yeah.
Is that a particularly difficult body part to train, the calves?
Is it
horrendous?
I think it's. I mean, just I mentioned Dorian a lot, but you look at Dorian's calves, but Dorian always had big calves, and he said, "Look, I'm the last person really you want to sort of like take an example, because they were a body part that he would train hard and intense and heavy, but it was an area that would respond well for him." Some people, especially, and you get a lot of black people who have very high calves, and there's nothing you can do where, with regards to where a muscle is inserted. No. So, like that,
I mean, my muscle insertions are always fine, but I didn't give them the attention that I was giving quads, and also not just that. By the time I'd done quads and hamstrings, I was done.
What's your view to the question that Chris asked, though, that for many people, would you see calves as a stubborn body part? Would you see it's the fact that are they training them properly?
But let's be honest, do you see many people training calves now?
Not really. No.
I mean, it's not a pretty muscle, is it? Really?
Well, it's not.
I think it's a partly. It might be a vanity thing with the movement of any other body part. Yeah. It's a big movement. With the calf, you don't get any kind of movement with it other than a gentle. Well, not a gentle lift, but
it's one of them where the burn is absolutely.
It's lovely.
But it's great.
Is it good? Yeah.
Oh, it's agonising. It's agonising. But it's beautiful pain.
There's nothing better when you get up next morning, you kind of put your heel down, is it?
but this is us. We're sick.
John grows about 4 inches when he does calves. He's on his tiptoes. He's on his tiptoes.
How tall are you, Wen?
5'3".
So we're similar height. You're 5'3",
We're massive.
4.5. We're going in between this week. But yeah, with calves and that, but especially these fitnessy type chains, they don't even have the proper calf machine. So you wonder why people are not getting any development. I mean, what do you do if you get? Explain while we're on calves. Come on.
Okay, I do higher reps,
right?
But heavyweight.
Yeah.
As in Tom Platt style.
So as heavy as you can, but how many reps are you aiming for
15,
then?
20, 30.
Really? You'll feel the burn off
and
that.
I rest pause if I have to, but I will get them out.
Wow.
I do nothing crazy, like seated calves.
Yeah.
Like there's a hamstring, there's a hack machine, so there's a plate that you can use.
Yeah.
So my back's supported on it as well.
I know what you mean.
And toe press, and that's.
And that's it. Just the 3 exercises.
I mean, I've done 2. Yeah, I do 2 exercises, and then I change them around.
So it's two exercises.
2 exercises
out of them 3.
Out of them 3.
Right. Simple.
And then if I go to somewhere
how many sets are you aiming for? Is that one big set? Or are you doing a number of sets?
No, I do about 4 or 5 sets.
But each one to failure?
No, not each. The last set to failure.
That's what I mean. Your last set's going to be your working set. That's the one that's getting the job done. Everything up to that is a primer.
Yeah. And I only have like 30 seconds rest in between.
What?
I don't want to stand there and time myself.
Right, but
I just like.
Right, okay. Wow.
I recover really well between sets as well. Yeah. Even like when I train with the lads and that, they're always blowing.
And so that leads me then to suggest that in the off season, and are you doing any cardio then to maintain your fit? So how much cardio? Because obviously if you're recovering and you've got the oxygen capacity, that tells me you've got to be doing cardio or something.
Yeah, I do. Off season, I do about 3 or 4 times a week.
Right, cool.
For 30 minutes before breakfast.
Who told you to do that?
This guy at one time, he called John.
Does he? Is he a handsome little man?
Dead good looking. Dead cheeky as well.
No, but it's true. But it's. I've always said this to people, and you can tell when you're not doing it. Seriously, your workouts are going to be severely,
especially on leg day.
Yeah, severely impaired.
Yeah. But I have a dog as well, so I don't count him as cardio. So
right.
When I'm contest prepping, I'm doing cardio twice a day, every day. So
and then walking.
Then I walk my dog on top of that twice.
Is it more of a leisurely spot? Are you quite? What kind of dog is it?
He's a Staffy, pedigree Staffy, but he'll walk forever. So. Effectively, it's like going out 4 times to do cardio. But off season, I'll do on the treadmill 3 to.
A lot of people go, "Oh, well, you shouldn't do that much. You won't grow."
I like doing it when I don't have to do it, John.
No,
I quite like doing it, and I never thought I'd hear myself say that.
I do it every morning as a rule.
But it wakes me up for the day, and it's a routine, and I'm all about routine. It's quite sad, really.
No, I think that, to me, do you not think that's an important factor to be a good bodybuilder?
Massively. But
routine?
Structure.
Yeah.
And God help it if my structure's like thrown off, that's when I start to stress.
I know, I must admit, I mean, I'm not in that mould, even though I still have my meals, like, I should have ate something before, and I thought, I forgot. Anyway, I'll wait till, later. But when I was in the day, it was like, clock,
It's funny, people think you're boring them because you keep checking your watch, and I keep saying, seriously, you're not boring. I'm into my next meet.
It was Justin House who we were having a good. He said, "You don't realise." He said, "We were at the CMP unit at the time." He said, and Dave Parry. He said, and you were on the phone and taking his phone call. With some
the helpline.
Helpline, yeah. And he went, and he said, "Watch this," and you could see the clock coming up to 3 o'clock. So it'd be 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And so the clock's ticking. And Dave Parry went to Justin House. He went, and Justin was telling me this story, not a while back. And he went, watch this. He said, and all of a sudden he just went, right, yep, right. And you politely ended the conversation, and it was just coming up to 3 o'clock. The phone went down, got up, straight out. You heard, microwave 2 minutes, ping, 3 o'clock, sat down. He said it was just, it was laughable, but that's how it was. Yeah. I had to be right on the dot, and if I wasn't, I'd be like,
you get really touchy and
touchy. Looking back, I think,
I know, but
chill out.
Yeah, but it's things like that made you so good. Especially, it's no point being, I'll be all right for 10 minutes.
No, I agree. It's having that real regimented, rigid dedication.
Even when
didn't want to slack.
No, I can't slack. No, because I always think if you are, someone else isn't. So
how does Kay view it? And because I know Kay anyway, but I mean she's dead supportive.
I can't ask for any more support. She's brilliant. But I remember when I first met her, I said, "Don't want to be with me? I'm a bodybuilder. I'm weird." And she's like, "Surely you can't be that weird." I was like, "No, trust me, I'm weird." And then so now, yep, you're weird. But she's fine. She understands and everything. And she's just dead proud of us.
I think that's the key to a successful relationship. You've got to have a very supportive, understanding partner.
I'm so lucky because I see guys and girls who don't have that support. And I'm like, oh my God, it's stressful enough anyway without having a partner to be up against. And sometimes it's not the partner's fault because the person who is doing the bodybuilding or something, mister... They don't keep them on board. They don't tell them what's going on. No. And they hide it from them. Well, if you open from day one, there's no point lying because somewhere down the line they're going to find out from a second source, and that's not nice. And it's I think it's quite disrespectful. But if you've got your partner supports you, that's brilliant. Like.
Yeah, I think you've got to be acutely aware of of the people around you.
Yeah, and then you have to get brownie points in the off season.
Well, just unfortunate. I was a different beast, and looking back, you go, didn't quite get that one right. So I suppose in a way it was part of my journey to understand what not to do and what to do, and I suppose my sort of like, should we say, shortfalls, shortcomings. And the pain I went through was really there for me to help others because I've seen it along the way with others and I'm going, well, that's the thing. Stop a minute, stop. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah. I know I'm an expert at getting it wrong, in that department. It's like, really me. So it's but it's good that I know Kay well and she's a lovely lady. So and she's full on there and she's always pushing and
always.
What was the reaction like after you come fourth? You're number 4 in the world. I'd love to see what Kay's reaction was like.
I could see it when because she's like my eyes when I'm on stage. So I always say sit where I can see it because I can't get sometimes in position properly with my shoulder and stuff. Yeah. I struggle with certain poses sometimes, and I have to grip. I can't show that on stage. I'd hurt, so I look at it, and she like lets us know that I'm in the right position. So and all the time I was in eye contact with her, and she was like chuffed to bits. Yeah, you could see. But afterwards she was, and all the girls like love it a bit as well.
What about your mum and dad?
Oh, my mum and dad are over the moon.
Yeah,
over the moon.
Because it's really weird. I mean, how did your mum and dad view? Obviously you're doing bodybuilding. So what's how did they react and respond? As to I'm doing bodybuilding, and obviously you're going to change.
Well,
you're getting muscular, you know. It's like,
well, when I first started out, I was at home, lived at home with my mum and dad, and I don't think my dad excuse me, I don't think my dad was super keen to begin with, especially when I took over the kitchen, because I used to copy the diet out of the old Flex magazine, and he says, "Are you in the kitchen again?" But my mum was always being the peacemaker. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Me and my dad are two alike. We're very stubborn, but now the both of them now support me so much. And my mum and my sister used to go to all my amateur shows, guest spots, and it'd be like, when I won the British finals, I had like Wendy's mum t-shirts on, and honestly, and then she says to us, and they've never been to a pro show ever, obviously because they're all in America. Yeah. So she said, would you let us come and watch you? Oh, and I thought, God love them. So they came and they said, "Can we wear our t-shirts?" And but they didn't.
Damn right.
And I was like, "It's the evening finals, Mum." I said, "You have to." Okay, we don't want to embarrass your pet, she says. And they were dead canny, and they were like, they loved every minute of it. And
I'd have been like, "Yeah, wear the shirts."
But everyone knew who my mum was, and by the time I'd finished, but she's a proper sociable woman.
She's got the same accent.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Is that? I mean, is your family, your mum? Are they from the northeast?
We're all from Sunderland,
right?
I mean, we live in Darlington now, but we're all from Sunderland.
If you don't support a football, I'm going to just divert a bit. You don't follow a football team from up there, do you?
No, I used to be much to my granddad's dislike. I used to be an Everton fan.
How did that happen?
Because at the time, I used to play football for my town.
Okay.
I was born 10 years too soon. Because I think if I was born later on, I would have probably been a footballer. Yeah.
I mean, as daft as it sounds, it was share common goal because I used to love football. Yeah. I played for Manchester Schoolboys and everything. It's changed too much for me now, though, John. It's like everything, there's no loyalties there, and it's all money, and it's just the way money dictates, doesn't it? Yeah, unfortunately.
I remember the days getting players' names in the back of my shirt, and be there for like years, and then now you might as well change it every week.
Do you not think? I mean, it's quite an interesting point we've touched on there, because we've diverted a bit to another realm, if you like, another sport. But then when you consider what I would call a true dedicated bodybuilder, I don't think that. And I had a friend, Mike Holden, who was a former British heavyweight champion, and he said, "You bodybuilders," he said, "You." He was going on about me and that. He said, "How you commit yourself." And it's not just it's every day. He said you can't just switch off and go out. And he's like, "Well, no." I said, when you look at the commitment we do, and we're not even getting paid.
I know. I know, right?
You know what I mean? I look back, you look at the top guys in America, the ones who are winning the Olympia or whatever, and all getting these sponsors, but the vast majority of us were not earning anything. It was purely that love.
The love and the passion.
Can I just jump in? What's in your opinion, the closest sport to bodybuilding that requires the same amount of dedication?
I'd say boxing.
Yeah, I would disagree.
From a dieting point of view,
slightly disagree. I mean, for the 12 weeks, some boxers will switch off, but I would say something like I would go more like a triathlete, because a triathlete, you think of what they have to do. Yeah. You know, I mean, they're running a marathon, are they? God knows how long, the swim, and then they've got a ridiculous bike ride. And a friend of mine does them, and you know, if you're at the top of your game, they've got to be relentless. I mean, I would say probably that one for effort. But the thing is what differentiates bodybuilding is probably the diet side of things. Training's the easy bit as far as I know it's hard, but it's fractional.
Think so, yeah. And the fact that it's like 365 days a year. Yeah. Like footballers, rugby players that can go home and switch off.
Well, half of them are injured half the time and getting paid 100, 200, 300 grand a week, and they're not even playing.
Too much time on their hands as well.
So you just said triathlon. Yeah. Is the more comparable. Which do you think is the most popular sport out of the two?
Out of bodybuilding and
triathlon?
I would say now bodybuilding.
Possibly, yeah. I mean,
in a different
way, because we are the pioneers, if you like, for whether you want to not look because you want to look like a bodybuilder, but do you not think we're the pioneers of instigating people wanting to improve their look and their overall health a bit? You know, even, you know, because obviously you can say, well, is bodybuilding really ultra healthy? Well, the principles of what we're doing.
But contest bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding is different,
Totally different. But as a whole, yes. It is. It can be healthy. Healthy diet, healthy training.
Well, let's be honest about it. How many people, if they were training regular and were eating the foods that we are eating, what would be happening to the NHS?
To be half.
Be a massive reduction. People saying, "Oh, I'm depressed, I'm all down," and all that. Get moving, get eating
tablets
right.
out with painkillers.
Well, one of the proven methods is exercise. Even a 30-minute brisk walk every day has been proven to massively reduce stress and ailments, and would reduce half the people taking pharmaceutical drugs, which they don't need to do. All they need to do is take a look at their life and just change the lifestyle.
The body is designed to move. We are designed to move. And the majority of people now with the jobs sit like all day.
Yeah.
Over a keyboard on, electrical stuff. They don't go out, they don't get any fresh air, which is another reason why people are getting lots of germs and bugs, because they don't go out.
Yeah. Cars. More cars.
Yeah, and again, you're sitting, and that's it, and that's all they do. Even from the kids, you don't see kids playing out anymore on bikes and football and stuff.
Well, that was back in the day, wasn't it? We'd have these ramps, and we'd do daft things and swing from trees and fall off, and the kid would end up breaking her arm or something.
Just another throw-in. Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's fine. It's cool.
When you say that, the healthiness side of things. Yeah. Do bodybuilders frequently, or should they frequently, get health checks and go to the doctor and say, can I have my blood stone?
Well, it's going to take us to the issue of the drugs in sport, and we're not naive enough to say that in bodybuilding, obviously you've got natural federations, but apart from them, everybody knows that there is an element of usage of the anabolic steroids, growth hormones, even insulins. All that is out there. I'm trying to think. I mean, what's your take on that, really? I mean, obviously, from a male point of view, when you're using stuff like that, obviously we can go into the realms of what's going on. Is it getting out of hand in some areas? We can cover on that, but they're artificial male hormones. So obviously, where ladies are we're touching on it briefly, have to be ultra careful. Because then, obviously, what can transpire is beyond the benefits of just building muscle, but what can happen to the lady's physiology, if you like. And
that's the superficial things, things you can see.
Yeah.
I mean, I get checks. I go to my doctor and I get all my bloods done.
Yeah.
And that's what females have to think. For every action, there's a reaction.
Yeah.
And everyone reacts differently. So for Joe Blogg to say, if you take this and this, you'll be fine. Because it says it's a woman's drug, you'll be okay. Well, no, you might not be okay. You might be have horrendous side effects.
Yeah.
So there's always a risk. Yeah. And it's minimising them risks and listening to people who haven't got making money off you as their main priority.
Because we were talking about the bikini girls and some of and I'm hearing that some of these girls are doing stuff that, and you're thinking, why? You're a bikini girl, you don't need to use anything.
And for what?
Yeah.
Why? Because no disrespect, but a lot of these girls aren't ever got hopes of making it to the Olympia, or even, I know everyone wants to be their best, but if you're going to sacrifice your health for your family and things like that for forever, is it really worth it for a trophy, or not a trophy even? Do you get a lot of women sort of asking your opinion and what's your take with regards to what do you say to them? Like you said to me, you use as little as you can, get as much out of it as you can, but with as small as you can.
Well,
I don't. Thing is, people, I always say, do not rely on them. I mean, Lisa Gelsey said a great thing last week. She described it as, we're all a cupcake. The drugs, the icing.
Yeah, the old icing on the cake.
Yeah, you can't have icing without the cake there first.
Yeah.
So that cake is your training, your food, your other supplements, your rest and recovery and stuff. And then a lot of times there's people who take stuff, not just women, but guys as well. They go out on the weekend, they get drunk, they take other drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, of course they're going to end up with problems. Yeah. But then the anabolics get the blame.
Yeah.
But little do they know that it's all the other stuff, the recreational drugs,
That happened, I think, going back in the early 90s. I remember it was Kerry at the time, and he was I can't remember his and he died. And unfortunately, there was some kind of conference going on, and the mother was going on about this, blaming the antibiotics. And in the end, I think Kerry turned around and said, well, let me just stop you a minute, right? There are lots of guys that are using anabolics. He said, but what you're not addressing is the fact that your son was taking coke and ecstasy tablets and all this, that, and the other. You need to. Why are you addressing that? That's what's giving him the heart attack. That's what killed him. I used anabolics from 1991 to 2011, on and off, competitively. But again, I'll be honest with you, I didn't get as much of blood work done, more so towards the end. So I'm not going to preach, I did everything right. No, I didn't. And I should have been a bit more meticulous. However, I was always of the opinion that, you have to use things sensibly. For me, it was all about 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. And then, here I am now. I'm 50 this year, and I'm healthy. No, but I'm just saying I'm healthy. I'm I'm going in the gym, and people are going, like one of the guys. I went to see Scott Gledhill, and he went like that. He said, "Are you on anything?" I went, "No." And he went, bloody hell, mate. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, someone was saying that, I was in the gym last night, and it's like, and I went, no, I've always been fairly consistent, even though it's not on point. My training, I've always trained, I've always ate well. So I think, it's that I've adopted, like you say, the healthy side of the lifestyle. And I was always being ultra careful. And I've always trying to pass that message on. It was Kerry who actually said to me, towards the end, and he said, do you know what, John? I really truly believe we could get away with a lot less than we thought. And yet today, we're in a position where we're the opposite end of the scale. It's the cart before the horse syndrome. Exactly. I've said this before. Yeah. People are more concerned about putting a pile of drugs into them, but ask them, are they intense? Are they giving it their all with the training? And what's your nutrition like?
If you take somebody new on now as a trainer,
well, you do personal training, don't you?
I do, yeah. So one of the first questions people ask me is, I'm taking this, will this be all right to get me ripped? They've never even mentioned the diet or the training, and I'm like, well, hang on, we're not going to get on here.
I've heard this drug gets me ripped.
Take your money, please, and go outside, because I'm not interested. If your main concern is how much drugs can I take, I'm not the person. It's
like we said about the society, isn't it? I want the get it done, quick fix, want it now. There is no drug.
There's no drug that gives you passion and drive.
It doesn't. What drug makes you wake up in the morning, get on the treadmill, or do your cardio outside? What drug actually pushes you into the gym and want to train like there's no tomorrow? What drug makes you want to then cook your food out, weigh it out so you know X amount of protein, X amount of carbs is in that meal, and every meal, and you meet everything that you need for that day? There isn't one.
Day out. Every week.
There isn't. And day in, day out, that comes from here and here. It's that drive and desire and commitment. You've got a dream to fulfill, and that's how I've always addressed that issue.
I agree. I agree.
So, would you say, what is your opinion, seriously, deep down? When you look at the drugs in sport, and we are the bearers of the flag, if you like, because of the way we look, but we're not the bloody only ones, do we?
No, it's because we carry our sport. We are our sport. So what you see is our sport. Yeah. Everything else, there's people, other athletes that are taking stuff. Cyclists, footballers, rugby players.
Cyclists have been active since
amphetamines, fat burners. Yeah. They're the ones, they take them too, but because we look like we do, then we're the ones who get slid. Yeah. But I'm a big believer, like yourself, training and diet. Once you've got that sorted, and you've got a good few years training, not like 6 months, what can I take? It's people.
Was that covered in the workshops that you were doing, the little seminars?
It was, and
did you hear some horrendous stories?
Yeah, we did. But I've heard them myself. But nothing shocks me anymore. No, and I think it's quite sad, really. Like it is such a big part of the. I know it's always been. I'm not stupid. No, it's always a part of the sport, but for all these new ones that are coming out, they're jumping on the bandwagon and all this like peptides. I don't even have a clue what they are, and I'm not interested.
I know these peptides,
but it's going to get you bigger and faster and ripped all at once.
I remember a certain person saying about, it was one of the top Olympians, wait till you see him, he's using this and he looks incredible. Came out and I went, what? I've seen him better. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. I never used the peptides and that.
I don't even.
No,
never.
I know.
No.
So I mean, what would so go on then? I mean, not to harbour too much on the pot, but it's a very important issue, especially for ladies. What would your take be on this area? I mean, you know, what do you say to these people, like he did in the seminar? What would you say to women when it comes to this area? You know,
if they're wanting to make that decision to take stuff, then I would say take one thing at a time. For a short period. Because if you start off taking 2 compounds together, how do you know what's going to give you side effects and what's going to work? And then you just dancing with the devil, really. So if you do one at a time, then you're going to find out, have a more accurate, and take notes, write down who, like, the brand is what you got, because let's be honest, there's loads of fake stuff out there. And there's loads of, and that's another worrying thing for females. What is supposed to be primo is actually test. But these innocent women are taking it because their trainer says it's fine. Well, they don't care if they have like male symptoms coming out of them. They're not bothered as long as they get their money. They're not bothered, and that's what I'm trying to get across to women. Be careful who's educating you on taking these things.
Not everyone's.
Who would they give the money to? Who are you paying your money to? That's who's more interested in making you money. They don't care what you look like.
There's lack of integrity.
There really is.
And that's what saddens me.
As long as Joe Bloggs gets his money, then who cares?
Do you guys and don't take this the wrong way, of your era of bodybuilding, find a responsibility within yourselves to educate?
Well,
because there's nobody responsible, is there? As such, that the federations don't talk about it. The supplement companies.
It's
don't
all right
talk
burying
about
your head
it.
in the sand, but you know that's not helping the issue.
It's like the elephant in the room, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. Can't talk about it. Big bloody thing, stuck behind us. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's true. You can't deny that. And again, I think it's society as a whole. I mean, if you look not just at drugs in sport, but look at drugs in general. You know, I mean, it's rife. I mean, look at cocaine use. Now, I don't think many people go out and don't use it, you know, which is a very, very sad state of affairs. You know, we are driven by a drug culture society, and the hierarchy can say what they want because half of them are doing it themselves. You know what I mean? They're all hypocrites.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's true. It does happen. So... sadly, I mean, it's a cultural thing, which is progressively getting...
But do you find a responsibility?
Yeah, I mean, I did detract from that, but we try. But I think a lot of the time, do you find that people think, the old dinosaurs are going on with themselves? That's what, just listen, you know.
Yeah, and I also think it's a result thing, so if someone came to me and I was saying, like, trying to deter them from taking stuff... but they see their friend or someone on Instagram who's won this, and this because they're taking this, then they want some of that. And they want it now. Even if I was to say, well, no, I don't think you should. Well, I want to look like that. And that's what they took. So therefore, they look like that. I want it.
I'm going to get like that by doing what they do. And it's because I used to go to the seminars in the early 90s, you know, and I was hell bent on, I'm going to find a secret. These are going to tell me. And it didn't take long for me to realise, hold on a minute, this is a bloody long, hard slog, and this is all about just, getting in and grinding it out and being prepared to work, and it's day in, day out, week in, month out, year in, year out.
Repeat.
Eat, sleep, repeat, and it's a continuous thing. And if you're not prepared to do I think the best way I describe bodybuilding is, for those who go into it, it will find you out one way or the other. You'll find out what you're made of.
Yeah. And
you're either going to be able to survive like we've done and do it year in, year out.
And take the knockbacks. When you get that first knockback, do you put your hands up and say, right, that's it?
How many times did people say, well, are you quitting now, Wendy?
I've lost count.
Yeah, same with me.
The amount of times people who say to me, this was before I turned pro, and I remember it vividly, the people who said it to me, I can tell you right where I was in the room at the time. There's people who have said to me, you'll never make it. And this was before I turned pro.
Don't you just love them words?
I love them at this day. And there's people that turned pro who said, you'll never get to the Olympia. You'll never make it as a pro. I use them as fuel.
I do, exactly.
I was just about to say that. I suppose that's the drug that John was looking for or talking about earlier on. That's the drug that pushes you on, isn't it?
It's that inner desire, that do you call it, like, it's not a drug, is it really? But it's own, yeah. You manufacture something within, and it doesn't matter. You know, you're in the wrong game if you're going to be persuaded. Even in life, you're going to be persuaded and dictated to by what other people's opinions are. Other people's opinions should never determine the outcome of your life and destination.
No, which is really bizarre, because what we do is judged by someone's opinion.
It is.
It's kind of a two-way thing, isn't it?
It's what do you call it?
It's an oxymoron, isn't it?
Oxymoron. Yeah. It is, in a way. Yeah, but I always remember Milos Sarcev saying to me, and we would do it, and I remember this clear as now. We were stood in the lineup, and it was my first pro show abroad in 2001, and it was the Toronto Pro. And it's not, I'm going to say it as it is, it's not to knock Bob Ciccarello or anything like that. Great guy, I think he's a great MC and all that, but we were all in the lineup, and we stood there like that, and I'm giving it, and I saw Bob Ciccarello backstage, and I'm thinking, wow, I wouldn't turn up in that condition. I honestly, he was truly believed by my standards, and I know what I'm looking for. He was off. And I'm going, flipping heck. You know, and King Kamali was backstage putting the spray on and all that. And I'm like peeled. It was me and Mike Sheridan there, and I always remember this. And but I'm stood in the lineup next to Milos. And then he gets about the first or second call out. And I'm thinking, what? And I'm like that. So I turned to Milos and go, Milos, what the it's all that about? And he went, well, Jim Mannion's the head judge. And I like Jim Mannion. I'm not saying this, but he said Jim Mannion's the head judge, and Bob Ciccarello knows Jim Mannion really well. And I thought, Jim, I'm not having a go. I'm just saying it just seemed a bit, you know, because I like Jim Mannion. I like Steve Winby. I like all of them. I've always gotten well with them. But I always remember that moment. And I just thought, wow. No, I'm not having this. This is wrong. I said to Mike Sheridan, I was kicking off. I said, Mike, I said, what the fuck's all that about? And he went, oh, I'll just leave it. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, Mike rings me up. We were having a chat. He goes, just seen the video back. That Bob Ciccarello. I went, stop it. I said, I've just got over it. I don't want to talk about it, you know.
Did it not crush you on stage, though?
I suppose at the time there were a number of shows. I mean, later that year I did the British Grand Prix, and I got 16th, and they're the black and white ones, and that was just wrong on so many levels. I was clearly gunning for, I would have said, top 10, top 8. Even Neil Hill said that. So, but again, it's the makeup of the character. You know, we are very similar creatures. Even though I actually cried that night to Dorian's ex-wife, Debbie. I said, I don't understand what I had to do. You know, it was so wrong. Kerry even said, they ended up they wanted to do the right thing. They ended up doing the wrong thing because they felt the need to place the big guys, the big names ahead. But it devastated me at the time. It's
soul destroying.
It is, but then I'm one of them. I go,
yeah, I'll show you.
Just stubborn.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the nature of the beast, I suppose. And that's why I think we've connected so well over the years. And that's why I have the utmost respect, because what I see is that I see this female Dorian, John Hodgson, that we have that trait of that never give in, just bump, we've got to give it our all, you know. And I mean, that takes us to, you know, because I'm going to come back. Remember when you came to, I said this, I want you to see your opinion. I'll describe when you came. I said, listen, Wendy, you've got to get your condition right. Do you remember that?
I remember it was 2010.
Yeah.
Right. And it was Kay's idea to come and see it, because what happened was, it was my birthday in March, and she bought us Peter Kay tickets to go and see. And she says, she was quite new to the bodybuilding scene, but she knew I spoke highly of you. And she said, why don't we go and see John? I was like, it's my birthday weekend, you don't want to like be doing bodybuilding things. No, it's important for you. Oh, okay. And then that's when I came to you.
That's supportive, that's good. Though.
Actually, it was 2009. Because I was struggling to get in shape, and I remember the first time I remember it 9 weeks left, and we came to see you, and that's when you said, why don't you go and see John, he can help. Do
you remember your face when I think, because I told you where you need what you need to weigh, and you was like,
my jaw just dropped, but I thought, right, take it on the chin, but me being me like yourself had done, I went back and I thought, right, I'll show you, and then
kept coming back,
I'm catching him.
How much more to go?
How much more to go now? Just a bit more. When I was like, and I used to come down with Bodster.
That's right. Yes, it was.
He used to bring us down when, and each time he'd be saying, a few more pounds it went, like, okay, and then back I'd go.
Yeah.
But hey, it got me there in the end, didn't it?
It did, and because it was, and this is the thing that, you know, I always clearly found, as I say, from an early part of when I was getting involved in bodybuilding through Kerry and Dorian, when I got to know Dorian after he retired, you know, people think they understand conditioning, but then there's conditioning. Because when you went to America, what was the reaction of the ladies like from out there?
Oh, they were like, wow. And the thing, have the secret to get my glutes shredded, because they all said I've got the best glutes, like, and hamstrings. What are you doing for your glutes, girl? And I'm like, just diet, nothing. And they're like, yeah, but there must be something. Nope. See,
and that's even at the highest level. I mean, I got used to get one or two comments from the guys when I went to America. You know, what diuretic are you using? I said, what? All comes down to that? Are you kidding me?
I don't take diuretics. Don't never take them.
I've done them and I've done it without. And the one thing I found was I'd get ultra dry but flatten out. And when I didn't, I was still hard and dry but fuller. Yeah. So if you got all the body fat off, what's your opinion?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I told you, didn't I? I said to you, this is just...
Vitamin C, asparagus. That's my thing for last week.
Have we got a bit of the footage of Wendy and... I'm just thinking that, you know, when we...
Is it on YouTube? Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, I think the pause down's on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they've put the rest of it up yet.
But he was always... I mean, this is the thing. He was always complimented on from that point on.
From that point, that's my card now, because I'm never the biggest person, John, on stage. I'm quite small. I mean, before I started training, I weighed 7.5 stone. So I don't have... say, like the bigger girls who you'll see on stage, they're like 6 foot. And
but that's the same with Joanna Thomas.
Same with Joanna Thomas,
your card is get in shape. You got a great structure and shape.
Yeah, everything's there. Yeah. So I thought, rather than try and play the size game, which it's never gonna. No. Obviously, I like to be a bit bigger in places, but the conditioning is my thing. Yeah. And that's what I want to be doing. At least then, if I know I've done everything I can. And my ultimate thing when I step on stage is, if I've stepped on that stage and thought, have I done absolutely everything possible I can do, I'm happy.
Because then you did dip down into was it the physique?
Yeah, I tried women's physique.
Did you feel like that was an issue? Sorry for interrupting, but that was you were forced. Did you feel like you were slightly forced into that?
Yeah, kind of. Because I got told by the judges, like, okay, women's physique's growing, and you've got a kind of like a physique that would fit in, just not necessarily as thick as what you currently are. So I think I remember training that year because I had my own gym at the time, and not training arms probably because my arms were too thick, and then my quads obviously were too big. Yeah. Well, I didn't like me training, John, for the first time. I was like training with my hands behind my back, and this is not me. Like. And
that's why I asked, because...
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, I came 8th out of 20, I think it was 28 in Louisiana, but I hated it.
You wasn't true to you. Do you find you was actually not living...
I felt I cheated.
Cheated yourself.
And I didn't enjoy it. And what frustrated me, I remember you saying, when I was on the stage, and everyone comes out in the lineup, not one of the judges looked at us, like lift their heads up. And I was getting so angry. I remember looking at Kate, and I was... like saying they're not even looking at us.
It's wrong though.
And I hate it, so disrespectful. And I was like, right, and I went home after that, and I sat in the bath and I cried. I said, that's it, I'm done. And then when I went to ask the judges' opinion, they said, oh, you need to go back to bodybuilding. Flipping neck, make your mind up.
What did you think then? I mean, you must have felt like, what the fuck?
I was like, and then they said, what? Okay. So
did you not say, well, you just told me to come to visit?
Yeah. So I went home and I said, I'm done. That's it. And it was Kay who said, don't let them dictate to you when you're done. And I was like, what do you mean? I said, it doesn't matter what I do. Nothing's like, it was like, I actually made a DVD that year as well. And I called it Chasing the Impossible Dream. Because for me, it felt like I was never going to get there. Like they were dangling a carrot. And each time I thought I was getting somewhere, then it would just right before me, and like, forget it, you never meant to get on that Olympia stage, forget it. So and that year we went to watch the Olympia, and my eyes got opened actually, because we watched the women's physique, and I was like all excited They weren't even a part of the main event. They were shoved to one side at the export on a made-up stage.
It's where they used to do the 202 and that, yeah.
And it was, I thought, do I really want to... And then, funny enough, it was Lisa Cross who suggested to me to come back to bodybuilding. I was talking to her at the British finals that year, and she said, when we get really well looked after now, come across and come back. Yeah. And I was like... And then I messaged some of the girls who I used to compete with, and they said, yeah, come back. So I was like... It's
nice.
It's really nice.
Real nice collective camaraderie.
We have such a good camaraderie. Even, like, to this day, Helly Trevino, the girl who won, we're in touch every week.
Oh, that's nice.
And even when we were prepping, we were FaceTime doing cardio.
Really?
But she, obviously, 8 hours behind us.
Yeah.
I can't remember how I was there. So she was in the sun, doing her power walk in the sun. That was me, out with the dog, freezing cold. Yeah. And she's European as well, so maybe we connect. Yes. Like, she lives in LA, but she's from Denmark. Right. But we connect really well. That's what a lot of us do. We stay in touch. Yeah. The Canadian girls as well, especially. We're dead support of each other.
That's lovely to hear that.
Backstage, and we all shared a house together at the World. Had dinner with Linda Murray.
Linda's nice.
She's lovely.
I've met her on 1 or 2 occasions. She's
so nice.
A really nice person.
Because I've got a tattoo of Linda Murray on my leg. And the husband and herself were made up and the husband was taking like pictures of my leg. Because wow, you've got Linda, you've got my wife on your leg. And I was like, yeah. And I must be like a big child. She was sat there having dinner, and I was like, kept nudging Kay and going, it's Linda Murray. But she was just dead normal. Yeah. She was so nice.
But then you got to remember, you've been inspired. And they say, is it once obviously you're not competing against sort of like Linda Murray, but then your inspiration becomes a competition. That's when you know you've done something right. Yeah. Because if she was competing, you know, and that's how you got to look at it in a way. Yeah. When you're inspired to get to that level, and then all of a sudden it's a bit like the boxers, you know, like fighting Ali and that. Yeah. You know, the heroes.
But after the World Championship, she took me to one side afterwards, and she said, you know, because I love doing my posing routines. And I put a lot into them, and they're always, I know it sounds quite sad, but I do them for Kay, so they're quite emotional. And she watched me, she said, and she was really complimentary on my posing routine. She pulled me to one side and she said, that was amazing. She said, I could see it in your eyes. She said, I could see the connection.
And there you have, you got this is your idol.
And I was like, wow. I was like, but all the girls, they say about my posing, that they're in tears. Yeah. The dead supportive.
This is the
this is not the best one though.
No, this is the only one I can find at the moment. But this is the pro.
This is the Toronto one. It's probably my worst one actually.
Oh, found your worst one. Is there another one on YouTube?
Worst one? I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean,
I was trying a new thing out. I got dance lessons as well. I used to do ballet when I was young.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, it certainly helped. Well, Arnold used to do ballet lessons, didn't he? By all accounts.
Yeah, and Ronnie used to get taught by. You can't really hear the words and stuff, but the last one I did for the Worlds was Celine Dion, and it was like, everyone was like, oh.
Which one, which track was that then? Which one was it, do you know?
This one here was, oh man.
Which one was the Celine Dion one then?
The last one.
Which track did you use, do you remember?
Because of You.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we'll try and find that other one. What show was it? The
Rising
Phoenix.
There's no Body Power guest.
Because they did stream that, didn't they?
They streamed it live. Yeah, it was streamed live.
So there must be something.
I mean, I've got it on my phone, but it got taken down from Facebook. I got wrong because I didn't have the rights to put it on.
Oh, the usual. Yeah. That happened to me a few times.
We'll get burned the same.
It's just, we're going through it.
There's nothing there. Wings of Strength.
But either way, it's like it's always a bit like emotional when you do it.
Yeah,
but I put a lot into it because I think that's a big thing. Yeah, and there was prize money up for grabs as well.
Well, that's an important point, because obviously the way bodybuilding's gone, it's now not judged and scored.
No.
And for me, it's just sort of like, well, there's no effort needed.
And there should be.
And I don't give up monkeys. No. I mean,
I love posing.
Well, isn't that the whole idea?
Yeah. Yeah, and I like teaching posing. I like. It's an art form, and I think you put so much effort into your diet and your training, but if you can't show that off, then how are the judges going to be able to see you if you can't show it off? You know, so
it's an expression, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You know. And it's an art of showing off your best body parts and your transitions, and you see so many. I see a lot of amateurs on stage, and it makes me cringe. And sometimes it's not their fault. I mean, ultimately the buck's up to them. But you know, if someone's coaching them, then they should be part of that. Should be your presentation on stage. Or
if it's not, at least try and get someone.
Because if you kind of present yourself, then how can you expect to be judged? I wasn't looked at properly, but you weren't. I mean, I've heard you and John on YouTube. You've often said, if you open your lats up, if you stand up, get your chest up, stop being. It all helps. It all makes a difference. You know.
Well, again, I mean, when we do that's what's good about the Nabba. What I like about the way Nabba operates is that everybody does the routine before they do the they do the quarter turns, but then they do the routines each, and then everyone then does the mandatory poses, and you know, so Nabba are giving everybody an opportunity to be seen. So the posing, and I think that's great, and I think it has to come back because that's the massive factor of entertainment, and people then have to put the effort in. You know, and if you do a good routine, you're catching the judge's eye, and you're going to be looked at. I like it the way that format is, and I think it would be nice to see that incorporated into sort of like the IFBB and stuff like that. I really do. You know, as opposed to judging and just an evening show.
There was 28 of us, I think, at the World Championships. Each one of us got to do our routine, and it was 3 minutes long. And we all each got an individual intro we had to do before the show. We had to do our own video entry. So like introduce how we trained, and I did like a black and white training one, and so we all got each a lot of time on stage, which is how it should be. Because even if you're amateur, you should get a chance to do your routine. Because it
doesn't matter whether you're amateur or pro. I mean, you're still putting in the same effort.
It might be your one and only time ever on stage. If you've got family come to see, or you want your kids to see it when you're older, then you should have something to show them.
Because that's what happens now, especially at the British Championships. It's so rushed.
It's too rushed, and I just think there's too many classes, and there's too many people. And at the end of the day, if you're in the British Championships, my personal view is you should be the winners, not third invites, fourth invites.
Well, I mean, with the UKBFF, it's I just think, you know, it's always been a special place in my heart and yours, because that's how we got our pro card. Things have actually, you know, changed a little bit. But I find the amount of competitors that are having, it's turning up. It's all right having massive amount of numbers, but if it's at the expense of the quality of the show and the competitors are not going to be able to shine properly, then I think, you know, you've got to address that for me, you know. And I think it's not knocking. I'm not here to knock anybody. I just think things need to be looked at, and how can it be improved. And that's why I do like the way Nabba does that. I like the fact that everyone's getting the routine done. They have to make an effort, otherwise you know you might miss out. You know, it's a time to really.
It's your time up there, so make the most of it. Because once you go off, that's it. There's no point saying, "Oh, we should have done that. We should have done that."
No,
you know.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Yeah. So we had no join about it. No.
The pose down finals are on. What's that? The pose down's on for the World Championships. I think we've put in the Rise and Phoenix pose down.
Right. Well, Chris will do his handiwork.
Which is quite funny because I'll run to the front.
How many was in the pose down? Is it 6?
No, I think 10? There was 12.
Oh, was it? Right.
Yeah, I think there was 12. What was it all? Yeah, 12, I think. It was good fun. It was really good fun.
Is that on YouTube?
Yes. Yeah.
Have we got any joiner? Here we are. Oh, there it is.
There we are.
Pose down.
This one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's 2016.
Sorry. Oh, is that 2016? No. Oh.
We put in 2017.
Right. Is it coming up? Is it that one there? No recap.
No.
Pose down women. No.
That's strange because unless it's been tucked down.
Right. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Never mind. But it was on there anyway.
It was. It was. Keep going.
Never mind.
So I mean, we've talked about your training and that, but from your diet point of view, though, I mean, how do you vary your diet from off season to say pre-contest? Because the one thing I've always picked up, and especially now, is again that consistency factor.
off season, I'm still as consistent as I am.
Yeah.
As I am pre-contest.
Weighing out your food?
Always weigh out my food, John.
Yeah.
Honestly, till the last gram, and I'm still like,
yes.
I'll have a week in a minute.
Yeah.
And
why? And what's the importance of that? What I mean, what would you? How would you describe why you do that, and what would you say the importance of being like that is to people who may be listening in and going,
because then it becomes guesswork, and then. You don't. If you've got a measurement, then you know exactly how much you're eating. So, for example, if you think you're putting on too much, or you're not growing enough, you put on too much, you can say, right, I'll take 25 grams of carbs out and do it methodically that way, rather than just guessing. And that's the way I've always done things. I'm very methodical. Yeah. I like to think things out. So if it's written down, if you weigh it out, you know exactly what's going in, rather than guessing. Because when it becomes guesswork, then it starts going wrong.
Bit like going into battle, isn't it, without a battle plan?
Exactly.
It's suicidal, isn't it?
Yeah, or a ship setting sail without knowing where to go. I'll just have a wander over here, see where we're going. Driving the car, where you going? I don't know. I like to know exactly. And then if it's not enough or it's too much, then you can always pull it back or change.
Bit like a sat nav, innit?
Yeah.
Gets your destination, then sometimes you might have to change something or direction and go down that way.
Exactly.
But at least you know what to change.
At least you know what to change. And because I eat pretty much the same foods every day.
Come on, tell us what you do. Let's listen to this wonderfully boring diet.
Okay, so I have my pro-peptide, my oats, and the banana.
How much oats? Come on, you wait out.
Do you know what? I've just... you laugh now, right?
Go on.
No. I've just increased it, right? By 5 grams.
You got to be kidding me. 5 grams?
I was having... Right, because I've only got, I think, 7 weeks left to prep. And
so that's 3 grams of carb extra.
Yeah.
You've really gone overboard there.
I know, but if you had that up, John, over a week, I might go all out and put another 5 in next week.
Oh, dope.
But I'll stand there and measure it till it's actually the 5 grams.
Yeah. So I'm laughing because I did exactly the same. So honestly, I'm taking it out.
I like doing little changes because then it's easier to change.
No, I understand.
So I have my pro-peptide, my oats, and my banana, and then after that it's chicken, rice, and broccoli.
How much rice? How much chicken?
I have 50 grams, and that's dry weight.
Yeah. So that's before it's cooked.
That's before it's cooked. And then
about 35 grams of carbs, something like that.
It's actually 33.
Depends on what packet it is. Trust me on that one.
John, come on.
Listen. But packets, right? Is it white rice or brown rice?
It's actually a basmati.
Basmati
rice. I pushed the boat out the other week.
I'm going to say 35.
I got some jasmine rice just to be all like.
Yeah, why not?
To be all like, and then I have jacket potato, tuna, and green beans.
Say that jacket potato again.
Jacket potato.
Jacket what?
Jacket potato.
Sorry.
Proper northeast.
Hang on. Jacket potato.
Jacket potato.
Jacket tatty.
Love it. So yeah, and followed.
So that's, and then I have so my pre-workout meal is egg whites.
Right. How many?
I have. Do you know what? I've actually ventured quite to the modern times. I've had liquid egg whites now.
Well, they're pasteurised, so you can drink them.
I don't drink them. I have to cook them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right.
But I measure. So I have 300 mils.
Right.
And a whole egg.
And one whole egg.
Yeah. I might go to 2 next week, mind. And
we're increasing the fats.
Increasing the fat.
Dorian actually said that to me once. John, get some more fats in your diet.
I always work better with. Over the years, I found like higher carbs and less fat.
Yep.
I work better that way.
Yeah.
Same as when I diet, I'm better higher carbs and less fat. You know, these big fat in diets where you have like.
What you've used to that? Oh, sorry. Well, let's go. Carry on with your diet, and we'll come back to that.
So I have my egg whites and I have oats again before training. Then I have my Pro Recover.
Yep.
And I drink my BCAAs during training.
Right.
And then I take creatine and glutamine.
With the Pro Recover?
Sorry, 20 minutes before.
Okay. And
then afterwards, Pro Recover, creatine and glutamine.
Oh, right, okay.
And then an hour after that, I have lean steak mince.
The 5% Morrison's.
5% Morrison's.
We're giving Morrison's a plug. Yeah. What do you do? Do you make it into burgers?
Yeah.
Yes.
I make it into burgers, or this sounds really revolting actually. Because I'll just eat anything. I'm not bothered if it tastes nice. Really.
It's function.
It's function. It's fuel. I'll just put the whole slab on the oven tray and then break it up
Yeah.
So it actually just looks like a piece.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not bothered. But
need to break it up, salt and pepper.
So you actually put the packet as it comes.
I literally lift it off.
That's raw. That is hardcore. That.
However, I put like spices on it though.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
But then Kay keeps trying to get me to make it into like, can you not put like a tomato sauce and make it more of like a bolognese and stuff? Well, yeah, I could, but it'd take more time, wouldn't it? And time is of the essence, to be honest.
But Wendy, I'd like a bolognese tonight. No. You can make your own tomato sauce, you know, like I actually make what I do with the bolognese is that, you know, you get is it the passata? It's actually
it's just tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce. So just put that in and then just add garlic and it won't kill you, Wendy.
I know, I'm considering it, John. Yeah. Hey, it takes a lot for me to add in things.
It's brilliant.
And do you know
I'm going to try this meat straight in the oven without taking it.
Do you know it saves all that time?
Like a meatloaf.
Yeah, it is. Without the loaf, it's just meat.
Yeah, just meat. So is that your last meal then?
No. And my last meal is peptide with peanut butter.
So what? Go on, break down. You know, everyone goes macros. We just go, how much protein, carbs, and fats are you on? So roughly what are you on?
Okay, 200 grams of protein.
Yep.
225 grams of carbs.
Yep.
And 65 grams of fat.
Do you remember as well? I just come back to me because when I was helping you get, you know, obviously saying about getting in condition, I told you was having too much protein, didn't I?
You did, because you know what he said. You stink.
No, I didn't actually say that. I said because I was looking at the diet that you brought and I looked at it and I said, "Are you actually? You know, when you sweat, are you getting that like ammonia smell?
Acidosis,
like,
isn't
it?
You
know that cat pissy type smell. You know that ammonia." And you said yes, and straight away because the volume of protein, I thought there's no way you're going to be utilising that efficiently.
Wait, it's funny now. Off season, I've dropped my protein back.
Yeah.
And increased my carbs. Don't worry, Kay's always the first one to remind me what you told me. When do you stink? Remember when John said you stunk? Yeah, well, you stink again. Right.
But it happened to me, and I thought, what's happening? And it's
what's the cause of it?
What is it? Because it's an increase in urea.
Yeah, to break down.
Is it your kidneys or liver that's doing that?
Well, it's just too much excessive protein. So if people start sweating and you pick up the clothes and you go, oh God, it's like a real harsh ammonia smell.
It's a byproduct of the protein breakdown.
Yeah.
So your body's not utilising it. It becomes a waste product, and that's the smell that you get.
And that's why excess protein as well, when you have a high intake of protein, can act like a diuretic if you increase your protein intake towards the end of the show. Because the only way it can expel it is through, you know, like expel it through urine and sweat. And so it causes a diuretic effect, and that's why you get that smell. So it's very unproductive because it's teamed as if you have excessive protein and you're in that condition, it's metabolic acidosis.
Right. Were you smelly back in the day, John? Because you smell fresh as a daisy these days.
These days it's totally different, mate. Yeah. I got a bit too much protein going in here.
No wonder I need a training partner.
I'm going to put a can of Febuary on there just in case next time.
Yeah, them days are gone because, again, you know, my protein intake's fairly moderate now. You know, I don't really ultra calculate it, but I know
you
roughly where I am.
Know
yeah,
where
pretty
you
much know.
And then once a week, it has to be a Saturday, mind, I'll have a cheat meal.
What would that be?
Well, I never thought here the day I'd say this, but I've gone off pizza a little bit because that always used to be my thing.
Yeah.
And I like burgers.
Okay.
So sometimes I make my own.
Yep.
And then pretty much my own burgers. If we go out somewhere, I'll have something different, an ice cream, and that's it. And Sunday it's just back to normal.
And Kay's very supportive of this.
I'll make her food for her too.
Does Kay? I was going to say, does Kay eat very similar to yourself?
Yeah, just smaller portions.
Because I've noticed that she's been training and she's actually changed a lot, hasn't she?
Changed a hell of a lot. Yeah. But she's a good training partner. She trains me like when she can. Yeah. And because she knows me, she knows how I tick. Yeah. And then she's good. I mean, she's not obviously the strongest like Stano is, but she knows the crack. She knows like not to talk to us like about random stuff if I'm in the middle of a set and stuff, because I can only train with a certain amount of people, and then they start annoying us. Because
where do you train now? Because sadly you did have your own gym, and I remember you opening it, and unfortunately, and it really pained me when I first heard that it didn't work out, because it was like a reflection of the way
I know. I wanted to try and create a place where people like-minded myself, I wanted to train hard. There was no frills, and away from the commercial gym, because the town where I live now, it's full of commercial gyms, and there was nowhere I can train. I can't train in commercial gyms. I've tried and failed. Even now, I will drive 45 minutes to Ant's gym every day. Well, 5 days a week. Contest time, and it's not the best. It's not ideal, especially contest prep time, because I have problems with my blood sugar too. So when I'm contest time, I was worried that I'm gonna have an accident on the way home. So I have to I'm coming home now. But it's like 45 minutes to an hour each way. But that's just because I don't have what I call a proper gym near me. So yeah, it was horrible to lose it, but looking back, I guess everything happens for a reason. And it was so stressful. And what on earth I was thinking about competing and having my own gym when I was going through that trouble, I've got no idea.
I've been there.
I thought I was fine till I look back and I was thinking, what was I doing?
No, I was the same. But even though I had a business partner,
Yeah.
But again, I got out of it. But I always wanted to have my own gym.
Yeah, me too.
Always. And I did it, and, that was it. And then I luckily for me, I parted ways and sold out. So
it's all part of the journey.
It is, of course it is. It's what,
You learn as well, your friends and stuff. And again, another knockback, you can only come back stronger, can't you?
Yeah.
And you learn from it. So, and I prefer it not now having the stress of waking up each morning thinking, oh God, am I going to pay that? And I don't have that now. Obviously you still worry about money, but not to that extent where you're up and to pay Paul and
people don't realise. I mean, I used to get that when you had your own gym and there was so much on the table that you had to pay.
It's crazy.
People think, oh, you've got this, you must be loaded. It's like, no.
No chance. I mean, I lost my house over it and everything. It was like we had to go bankrupt. But it was very sad, but come out the other end.
You're still smiling.
Still smiling.
Well,
I'll always be smiling, man.
But at the end of the day, okay. But the thing is that people can live in this little safety net bubble. But are you living? Or are you just existing?
That's exactly. Yeah.
When you consider like your bodybuilding career, what would you say has been? Look at the real positives now. Because everyone goes, but what has bodybuilding brought to the table for Wendy McCready?
Can I just interject there? When you just tilt your microphone down just a little bit, it does tilt. And pull it down. That's it. Is
that all right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, boss.
So what because your journey. What's it actually? When you look back, how would you describe? Because it's for you to still do it and keep doing it. Got to be something that's been keeping you going. Because people must say, I used to get it. Sorry, how do you keep going?
Because I love it.
Because you love it.
I love doing it, John.
Yeah.
And I'll always love training, but I love pushing myself, and I like being not the underdog, but I think there's a saying out there: be the wolf at the bottom of the hill, wanting to get to the top. Yeah. I like that idea. I like
the tiger.
Yeah. I like being under pressure, not pressure from necessarily other people, but if someone says to me, you can't do it, I'll go all out to prove them wrong. Yeah. And that's probably that's wrong to be motivated by that, but it's me against me as well. And I think each year, and I've improved. For example, if I was to, and I'm sidetracking a bit, if I was to look worse and start going back over, I'm done competing. Yeah. And it's like last year when I didn't expect to place fourth, and that's not me being negative. No. I was being realistic, thinking, okay, I've made it here. This should be it now. Get my injury sorted and just train, and that's it. But now I've placed fourth, and I was questionably should have placed higher, and I was so close. Now I have to keep going. Yeah. Because I'll always wonder, what if? Yeah. And that's what keeps me going. What if? I don't want to end my career wondering what if. At least I tried. So,
and what part of the competitive side do you enjoy most?
The challenge. I love the hard challenge.
What about the actual being on stage?
I love it.
Love it.
I love it. I've never...
Do you remember the first time you hit the stage? How did you feel?
Loved it.
Yeah. So that was the same with me.
Honestly.
Straight away I felt this is where I belong.
Yeah. I don't get nervous ever.
Nope.
Sorry, I'm lying there. The first time I was nervous was my first pro show in Texas.
Yeah.
That was 2005. And it was an eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
I went there and I had no idea. And I remember walking backstage thinking, holy shit, like, what am I doing here? But then as I relaxed a bit and I thought, oh.
Isn't it weird, the mind games, though? You're looking at them and seeing them out, and then, but you don't realise how good you could be looking.
Well,
and others are looking at you going, flipping, eh?
Yeah. But you don't see that yourself, though, do you?
You don't.
You know, you always look like, I keep myself to myself, and I like pump up area. I don't like, well, now not so much because we all get on, so, but previous we always just keep my head down and jump up. But the journey is such, I love it. Even the downfalls, because that's what makes me.
Yeah. The
challenges, not so much failures, because there's no such thing as fail. I think you either win or you learn.
Failure's a part of the success.
It's part of it, but
the process of success, isn't it? Without failure, you never succeed.
How do you improve?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you keep getting better. There's a reason why you didn't do so well. So if you can improve on that, then you can only get better.
Yeah.
So I just love the challenge.
Yeah.
So now I've got the pressure myself to look better than then last year, which it's a bit of a scary thought, but I'll do it.
Well,
I might crawl on the stage,
but
I'll get just
there. Relentless and ruthless, isn't it? That ruthless determination.
Yeah, I'm stubborn as hell, John. So
I think really that's what a lot of people who are I think that's missing a lot. I don't think people really understand the level of sheer brutality, intensity, and ruthless determination. If you want to be right at your A game, now some people can be up there, but can they be better as well?
Yeah.
My argument is, are you being the best you can be?
And that's what you have to ask yourself each and every time. Yeah. When you step on that stage, you've got to ask yourself, is this the best that I could have done? Yep. Have I skipped cardio? Have I missed meals? Have I cheated? Not once. I can say hand on heart, I've never in 22 years cheated on my diet.
Yeah.
And
where you've lost it and you've gone, I've had to eat that and gone, I shouldn't have done that.
Never.
No, I didn't.
Because another thing is, I hate letting people down.
Yeah.
And the likes of you, Karen, Harold, Kimberly, you've all helped us, massively, all of you. And I hate Anant as well, and I hate letting people, if you've put the time and effort into helping me, then I ain't gonna mess up, like. Yeah. Because it's disrespectful and you've put that time in.
I'll just get some questions thrown in, if that's all right.
Sure, yeah.
They've been sent in via social media. First question. This is from Jenny in Wrexham. What do you think? Jenny. What do you think can be done to boost female bodybuilding in the UK?
I think it should be brought back as alongside the normal shows. It shouldn't be exclusive. It should be ran alongside the rest of the categories. And I think also, whether it's the competitors themselves or the judges, they're frightened to make that move from women's physique to bodybuilders.
Because they watered it down, didn't they? They went backwards.
But really,
it's still bodybuilding.
A lot of women's physique should be in the bodybuilding category, and a lot of the figures should be in physique. Yeah. I know that's at pro level, but even some of the amateur girls, just the way they change the pose and stuff, they could be bodybuilders, but there's no place for them. So they should bring the category back, encourage it, promote it, support it, and if it's judged fairly, then, you know.
And do you think having very, very clear defining parameters of what they're looking for? Because I think that's where it all went wrong in the end.
Judged by judges who know what they're looking for.
Yeah. Would you ever become a judge, do you think? Once you've called it a day?
Well, I think I'm judging the Ant's show.
Okay.
He's got a new show in
his independent show,
the Max Muscle Bodybuilding Championships. And he's asked me if I would not. Yeah, I would. The only thing for me that would stop me now is I don't have time. Yeah. Because I know they're putting a hell of a lot of work around the country. I know Mike and Lisa travel from top to bottom. So I don't have that physical time. Yeah. But never say never.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've said never, haven't you, John?
I've definitely said
I would
never.
probably get into trouble.
I mean,
really.
I've been asked so many times.
I couldn't sit still for that long, I don't think.
I just think I'd rather... Listen, it's one of them thankless tasks. Don't envy the judges, and people can complain, but it's like, no.
If it was just bodybuilding, yes.
Yeah, I'm not being horrible, you know. I mean, even though I commentate in other categories and all that, but I suppose I've not got a bad eye. It's just, I don't know how he can. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
I don't know how he can judge some of the classes that even men's physique, and bikini wellness. I couldn't judge them. I feel if it was just bodybuilding, then yes, but
when we do the live streams with me and John Bridge, we're comfortable commentating, and that way we are judging, but we're critiquing as well. And don't start. I can't. Well, John Bridge is like the dry sense of humour. He has me in stitches. We both have a good sense of humour.
Well, John.
Hey,
like what the other John's like? Well, John. Well, John. What have we got here? She's got nice hair.
We went to that. You don't remember? Kimberly Ann, she did that 80s reunion.
Yes,
and I bumped into these girls, and they were like, oh, and I said, and they were like, they didn't recognise me, and then they went, and I said, I'll do the you're the guy who does the NAPA TV coverage on the shows. Oh no, you was commentating on our friend, and she came out, and you went, well, she's got nice hair, and we went like that. I went, oh dearie me. I went, well, sometimes I just
and it's not being disrespectful to that person at all, because they've gone through their own journey. So and they might have might just be one that only show they're going to do in their life, and they might have gone through some incredible stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
That's for my opinion. But
yeah, you're saying
it's not a modelling show.
It's not about this is my journey, but I suppose in a way we can. I understand where you're coming from, and their argument would say, but it gave me a goal to self-improve. But I understand what you're saying.
Choose a show you're gonna do.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely, because
local show.
Yeah, or even a fitness modelling show.
Yeah.
If you don't look like you haven't trained, then don't do a bodybuilding show.
See, for me, I think, and I'm going to speak on your behalf here briefly, but what you're saying, what we're both basically saying is, you're going into a competition, and the idea is you want to be winning or doing the best you can, and that means being the best, like we said, the best you.
Exactly.
Don't be under any illusion and that. If you're happy just to make up the numbers, then fair enough. But it's a lonely place up there. If you've not got it right, or you've cocked it up, you know what I mean. You are well, yes.
Really?
What was it you said? I'm a bit blunt.
But it's like if you're a track athlete, if you're a 100-meter sprinter, and there's 6 lanes.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go on the lane and start jogging.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm just so pleased to be here, thanks. And the rest was like a spin up. But do you know what I mean? It's like you know it's a competition. You've got to have a standard.
Yeah.
So otherwise, then go choose something else. Do a photo shoot. I don't know.
Yeah. In other words, instead of using that as a barometer to attain a improvement, like you say, solely do it for yourself, and maybe, like you say, have a photo shoot, and then you can go, that's me before and after, as opposed to going on the stage and
then build on there and ask someone who's with experience what in
other words, it's like you got to treat the competition with respect in
absolutely
a way. I think that's the key, and that's not being disrespectful.
No, it's being truthful, John.
Next question. We've got Kevin from Aylesbury. What's been the hardest thing to overcome since becoming a bodybuilder? If you could say one thing that's been really difficult for you.
I think, can I just sort of interject on that
Feel
question?
Free.
This is the thing I always get asked this question, and I'm sure, don't know if it gets asked quite directly, but say, and I get people, what do you think of these women bodybuilders and all that? And I'm like, have you ever had that directly, or it's something that's, because people can be rude.
Oh, people can be rude.
I've had it done to me, never mind.
From a personal point of view, I haven't had that much negativity. Yes, I get sometimes looks, and say you're walking around shopping and people stare, and I'm thinking, I haven't even got anything out. like maybe I don't have any of them anyway. But you're walking around, might have my t-shirt, so Kay said they're staring at you, and I think it bothers her. She gets annoyed because what she'll do sometimes, and my stepdaughter as well, they'll walk behind me
and watch
what people do, and I don't care what people think. I'm not bothered. I'll never see them again. But it's my life. I don't care. But they'll just sometimes out of curiosity, you see, and the amount of people who turn and stare when I've got when I'm covered up. And I say, well, what can it be? But I haven't directly had anything bad, really.
No. Because people say that they can feel probably more comfortable saying something like that to me and trying to get me to... I say, well, each to their own. It's like, I don't understand why people want to do a marathon and run around for 26 miles. I say, one person's, one man's meat is another man's poison. It's like, whatever makes a person tick and whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you happy. I mean, I can't get made around people sitting inside all day long stuck in a computer. Yeah. I can't understand that because it would drive me crazy.
Hello.
Sorry.
Sorry,
the question was...
Yeah, the question, what's the hardest thing to overcome since becoming a bodybuilder?
Probably being recognised. I don't mean recognised as in, hey, it's Wendy McCready. I mean, like, so like guys get prizes and it's not even a monetary thing. Being respected in the industry.
We're coming to equality here, aren't we?
Yes, but it's true.
Okay. No, but it is. I'm all for I don't care. If a woman does the same job as anyone else, whatever it is, it should be the same.
But John, it's not just the men. I mean, as in, for example, now the bikini girls get more respect and coverage and this, that, and the other than we do.
And they don't. And with the great, and this is saying it out bluntly, they do not train anywhere near the capacity of a bodybuilder. They just don't. And you can't even marry the comparison of the work rate and effort, what you have to do as a bodybuilder.
So trying to get that out, that's probably adds the most frustrating thing to overcome.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. 1,000,000%.
And probably is not being able to have enough peanut butter that I would like to eat, but that's probably...
You can, just do extra cardio.
Yeah. Next question, Jean from Glasgow. What surprised you the most about your own physical development over the years?
Oh, that's a good question.
It is, actually.
What surprised me?
Very good question.
I don't like surprises. Probably is that I've actually... I think what surprised me the most is that I've still improved each year as long as I've been going, because I think I've been in competitive for a long time, and through one thing or another it would have been quite easy to have gone back over, especially with injuries and like letdowns and knockbacks and stuff, but I've still managed to improve year after year after year, and that's probably my biggest surprise.
Okay, very good. Carl from Essex, what's the hardest part of the body for females to bring into condition, and does this differ for men?
Generally, I guess people are going to say the lower body. So females are naturally designed to store body fat.
Yeah, you said that earlier. Yeah.
So, and you see this all the time. The women's body can look like two separate bodies. And you'll get girls, I'm ready now, I'm losing body weight off, but I still got a fat ass. Yeah, you got to keep going. And they don't get that you have to keep going.
Who said that to you?
Because this guy knew once.
Bastard.
Yeah, you've got to keep going to get that, and you're thinking, shit, I'm going to lose me upper body here. Yeah. But that's a time thing as well. If they're relatively new, you're going to have that big difference because they haven't built enough muscle tissue on the top.
I was going to say, do you not think when people say, I'll lose it at the top, well, you never had it there in the first place.
Yeah.
You got to get body fat off. Yeah. What are you going to do? What are you trying to do? It's like, well, you've got to that's what we're saying about time served and building up the physique.
Yeah. But you've got to, for women, it's definitely, but for me, it used to be that I don't struggle as much now with my lower body.
Because you've actually, when you came right down and I just push. Because I said you had to get under 9 stone 12, wasn't it? Was it you got to?
I was 9 stone 12, yeah. Yeah. 9, yeah.
So but you was constantly on stage at nearly 11 stone.
10 stone, 10 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
she's like, no, I've never been that. I said, trust me, Wendy, you get that condition, you will absolutely shine.
I remember because I turned pro at 10 stone and you said, right, you should get a few more pound off. And I was like, whoa. But yeah, bringing it back to the question.
Psychological, though.
It is psychological, yeah. Definitely the lower body and glutes for females, in my experience, to what I treat my clients to.
So what basically saying there is, as well, what Wendy's highlighting is the fact that where there's body fat, and this is all it is, you've just got to keep going. Yeah. Don't kid yourself.
And it is scary for those that think, right, I've got to keep going, but I'm going to lose tissue. Well, yeah, you might, but, you know, that's how it is. If you want condition, you're going to be prepared to lose a bit if you haven't got that old tissue there anyway.
Yeah.
Very good. I hope that answers your question. Next one is Sam from Akron in Ohio.
Oh.
Wow.
What happens to you when you retire?
Oh, please don't ask that question. I'll tell you when I think of it. We had this me and Kimberly Ann, we had this conversation, and she has known me like a long time, like John, and she knows me like John too. And when she retired and Karen Murray retired, they had this conversation, unbeknown to me, what we're going to do when Wendy retires, and they said all we can do is be there for her. And I've spoke to Kim a few years and said, right, this is the last show, Kim, I'm going to retire. And she said each time, she said, bollocks. She knew I wasn't going to retire. Back to the question, I actually don't want to think about it.
Seems like quite an emotional question to be asked.
It is actually, I can feel that.
Well, you've not retired yet, John has.
I'm not retired. I can just say that when I thought I had retired, for 22 years, every time I wake up, my focus is on that show.
Yeah.
That's more than half my life. So for me to wake up without that is going to be, I know it's going to be difficult.
It's a frightening process. It is.
Yeah.
It is, because
what was it like for you, John? The day you decided that's it?
Well, literally, I did the British Grand Prix. I was over the moon. I felt like I'd won it. I mean, not literally I should have won it. I mean, I felt like I won it. I was happy. I came second to Flex. Crikey, that in itself was... I said that. You know, well, you were there, weren't you? Yeah. You know, and the crowd, it was... I felt like the crowd really were behind me. I really did. It was just... and I didn't honestly know I was going to retire. I genuinely did not know I was going to retire. And you know what? I know there was more for me to give. I know I could have got even better. And like Wendy picked up on before, for me it was always about getting better and better and better and not regressing. And so when I was walking back after the show, it's like, yeah, you know, where people are, you've done the Olympia. You know, some lads who were members of my gym at the time were like, oh, we're all going to go to the Olympia and this, that and the other and that. And at the time there was a bit of problem with the girl I was going out with. Emotionally, things were all over the show, and I've been talking about retiring at some point and thinking, well, how long can I keep going and doing this? And I just walked back from the arena, and I was with my mum, I was with my auntie Pat, I was with Gavin, who was my training partner at the time, and I was with Mike Codlin, who was my very first training partner. And I said to him, and I took him to the Olympia from 93, and I said I made a promise when I get there, and I said when I get there I'm taking you, and I took him. So it was very poignant, and it's weird the way it unfolded. These people around me, my first training partner, my very last training partner, my mum, and as I was walking back to the hotel, I just sort of went, do you know what, I just think I might call it a day. And they all looked at me and they went, and we were sat down, we were having a drink, and then we got there and they went, well, do you know what, John? He said, you know, what have you got to prove? You've just come second to a guy who's undoubtedly going to be the world #1. I had no doubt Flex would not go on and be anything other than, and he's 6-time champion, and a worthy one at that, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm very happy for him. And, you know, I thought, wow, I'm 42, I'm getting older. I could improve, but how much more do I want to keep doing this? And so it was, I give it a day or two afterwards, and then I actually announced it on Facebook, you know, and it was out of the blue. And what was really touching was the amount of comments, private messages, and there was loads. John, you know, I'm thinking, God, John, you're a legend of British bodybuilding. Don't retire, don't do this, you know. I'm thinking, well, I'm just this kid from Moston, Manchester. I was brought up by my mum. I just had this dream looking at the magazines, and I'd done it, and then you're being told you're one of the best there's ever been, or this, that, and the other. Lovely comments. Alvin Small actually rang me, and I think this was one of the triggers as well. And Alvin Small rang me up after the show. It was the next day, actually, I think it was. And he just said, John, I'm ringing you up. He said, I just had to say, and he did the open show.
Open show.
And he said, I just have to say, we were all blown away. what you presented, how you looked was just incredible. He said, I actually was backstage and I left backstage and got Harold Murillo. He said, and I told Harold, seriously, get yourself backstage. You have to see John Hodgson. I've never seen anything. He said, not seen out like it. This is the best he's ever looked. And it was really touching. And he went out of his way to tell me that. And I thought, you know what? Leave them wanting more. And that's why, and I think that, and that's what it was. And I'm not saying it wasn't a hard battle. It wasn't hard to sort of leave behind, because there was at times, and there are at times where over the years where I've gone, you know what, I'd love to come back and really show you, excuse me, how to really get in great shape, you know, that type of thing. Like, you know, but it was more a case of I left it on my terms. And I can understand what Wendy's saying, because you're so driven each and every year or 2 years or whatever, but you're working to the next improvement, next level. And then you have to find yourself, and it can be a bit uncomfortable.
I've never asked you that question before, John, so it's very insightful. Thank you very much for sharing. Very last question. Oh, here we go. This is from Georgia in London.
I thought Georgia Kentawa seminar.
The worst? It just says worst thing happened to you in gym.
The worst thing, definitely my shoulder tear in March, last March. Yeah. That's probably the only. I've had a few back injuries in the gym, like when it's gone in the gym, but this is the worst, because obviously the lasting effect it's had on me. So yeah, definitely my shoulder.
Let's make it more interesting. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in the gym?
Oh God, I don't think I've had anything.
No,
like nothing springs to mind where I thought, oh God, I hope that doesn't happen again. No,
not on squats.
No.
What are you talking about, John?
Accident.
I know people who have had.
I know. That's why I said it.
Again, you know this was a talking point last week.
Yeah.
But no, touch wood.
You're not shit yourself.
No,
yet.
hell no. I'd be devastated if I was.
Wearing white lycra. Oh no.
Oh, you've lowered the tone of the podcast now, John. Jesus wept.
It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, nothing like that. No. Thank God.
Bing. Oh well, I tell Wendy. I think it's time for the blue or black pen, don't you?
It is, yeah. We're just going up on 2 hours, believe it or not.
Wow.
Oh, we can talk, can't we?
We can keep going. I could
just talk us, before you sign, can you just talk us through the medals? The bits and pieces that you brought with you today?
Yeah,
okay. I don't really...
If you can hold them up in front of you.
I can't hold Pudgy up because she's broken.
Okay.
She actually broke in the case on the way home from Arizona.
And is that's your 4th place trophy, isn't it?
Yeah, all of these are from last year, because I don't really...
How did she break?
In the case on the way home in the airplane.
Oh, you didn't take your hand luggage.
Well, I put her in the hand luggage.
Oh, right.
Sorry, and she got rattled around in the flight, and it's a long old flight, so Kay's super glued her, like, together. Yeah. So she's a bit fragile. She's called Pudgy. Pudgy Stockton was the first female bodybuilder.
A bit of history there thrown in. Even I didn't know that.
There, she's called Pudgy.
Wow.
So that's from that, and this is my medal. I came with it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then this one's from Toronto Pro Show, and that's me sash I got from the Phoenix. We had to go tiaras and then this one's from Tim Gardner Chicago Pro Show.
Wow.
But I've got loads more, but I give them all to my sister and my nephew, and
really?
I'm not. Yeah, they don't really bother me. Medals.
It's the.
This one does.
Yeah. But it's what's stored up here.
Yeah, I've got
the memory bank.
Yeah, I've got my British Championship one.
Yeah.
Still, but the rest, not bothered. They don't really bother me really. So it's the actual prestige of it that's important to me. So
before we just sign off and that, how would you describe briefly Wendy McCready?
Passionate.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah.
And stubborn.
I think that can go for both of us, actually. I totally agree.
With a determination to succeed.
Well, that goes without saying. So you got to sign the table, darling. Blue or black?
Blue always.
Blue always.
Blue always. Blue. Find yourself an empty space on that table.
Wherever.
Awesome.
The quote from Gladiator.
What does it say? What does it say?
Strength and honour.
Wendy
awesome.
McCready.
It's tattooed on my leg.
Class.
Well, Wendy, I mean...
Before we sign off, John, Wendy, is there anything we need to talk about in terms of brands that you're involved with, or your own PT or anything like that?
Yeah, thank you to my sponsors and employees, CNP Nutrition.
Yep.
They helped me out a lot. Fantastic company with great products. So thank you to them. And Bale's Max Muscle Gym is my home of where I train.
Yeah.
Although I've been missing action last week, you'll be wondering where I am, because I've been here, there and everywhere. Obviously, thank you to Kay for being there. And John.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Always, he set me on the path. He's always there in my corner.
That's really good.
I know, guaranteed, which I do, even to this day, struggle, stress, I can just ring him up, text him, and he'll put me right.
Very good.
Mum and Dad always support me, and Karen and Harold always there. Kimberly Ann, you know, these guys have been in my corner from day one.
Right.
Also, Babette from Divas Fitwear Bikinis, she's made my fantastic posing suits as well, and I won't go anywhere else for them. So thank you to her, and all my friends and family. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, final one. How do we get in touch with you for PT, and how do we find you on the internet? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube?
I'm on Instagram as IFBB Pro Wendy McCready.
Yep.
Facebook's just my name, Wendy McCready. I think I've got 2 accounts, but it's the one with, you'll see the active one.
Yeah.
And YouTube is IFBB Pro, which it's been a bit dull for the last couple of years, but I've just put a new one back on.
Just seen it, yeah.
I've just put it back, getting it restarted again now.
Lovely.
So
bit of vlogging, that sort of thing on YouTube. Is
trying.
That what it is? Is that what it is on YouTube?
It's training on my own. It's difficult now, so to have someone video and stuff. So I need to come up with something. I just get on with it, and I forget. Oh hell, I'm supposed to be doing some videos here. So when I get trained, I get carried away.
Very good. Super.
And thank you to you as well for having me here. Very much.
Well, Wendy, it's been a pleasure, and honestly, we go back a while. You really are a real true friend, and I mean that. And I know what you've put in. I've seen it, and to see you rise and become the 4th greatest, best female bodybuilder in the world, priceless.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Gonna cry. It's been a joy.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Wendy.
Cheers, Wendy.